Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. It is I, Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole, and also it is Saturday. Um, Hi. It is good to see so many of you in chat. Hi, chat. How are you? I'm seeing you over there, and would like to pop out chat. That's what I would like to do, and I'm going to do it. So, pop out chat. Are we still in Mars? It's a rock hole. So, that's what I want. Okay. So, something I have to tell you something. It's kind of I don't really know how to say this. Kind of scandalous, sort of shocking. Uh, Something I feel like you could not expect. I don't really know how to say this, but we're playing a brand new game. Although, look, we've only played Hitman for what, 14 sessions maybe? I think it took us 14 to finish season 1 of Hitman, which, wasn't like the Inquisition. Oh, I will see you, Rissa. New game. That's not. Yeah, no, we didn't play. We played Hitman for 14, and then we finished season 1. There were some like little, So I feel like it wasn't that outrageous, but I mean, still, it is a new game. Atomica says, stressing because 2 of my 4 classes canceled, and now I'm struggling to find a 4th class, and the college website is a rotten potato strapped to a rusty 9-volt battery. Yeah, yeah, that tracks. I first off, I am sorry, but also though I understand what you're saying about the website, and that makes me sad. I'm sorry. Give me more context about the classes. What classes were they? What level were they? Online, offline? Tell me more. Tell me more. Ooh, that Dr. Pepper's good. Mm, the gasp. So why must these times continue to be interesting? This is a good question. This is a good question. So I have so many things to chat with you about, but we should talk about the game first. That I am unspoiled. We're going into this blind. I know almost nothing about it. So that's exciting. But and I'm good. The Blue Angels might show up. I think they're not here yet, but just here we go. Okay, so things that I want to tell you about. Is there anything I want to tell you uh, beforehand? Maybe I don't know. 300 level online course. Copywriting and a theoretical rhetoric class on the modern internet era being a feudal system that I was really looking forward to in person. Oh, okay. So I don't know about your school, but I feel like upper level online courses are sometimes a little bit difficult to fill, but we will see. So, hello, Max. I will tell you, and I'm sorry about your in-person course. That's a bummer. Um, so here we are, starting a brand new game for the first time. It's not our first time starting a brand new game. It's their first time playing this game. So this is Heaven's Vault, and I'm unspoiled. And oh hey, CZZ. Oh, says Heaven's Vault is a fantastic game. This is exciting. So CZZ, one of the things that I like to do. Oh, French 101? Nice, nice. One of the things that I like to do, I haven't done it in a couple of years though, is to play the Independent Game Festival's Excellence in Narrative winner for each year. And this is the Independent Game Festival's Excellence in Narrative winner for 2020. I would really also like to play the winner for their Excellence in Audio. Then we could talk about it, but we just haven't done that yet. Maybe we will, but we haven't done it yet. But we are a little bit behind. So this is the 2020 winner. So that's one thing I know about it. The other thing I know about it is that it is an archaeological sci-fi game and that it involves decrypting language in some kind of a way, all of which sounds very exciting to me. The other thing that I know is that it's produced by Inkle, and they produce a scripting language that I think it used to be called Inkle or Inklewrite, something like that. And it's open source now. You could get it back then, but there's an open source of it, and it's a scripting language people use to write uh, interactive fiction, right? And the first game, a back oh oh c oh CZZ, a backlog is the best because you have a lot of really good games to play, and usually when you get them, they're not super expensive. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Yes. What game did you finish before starting this new one? Is that a bad question? No, no. Hitman. It belongs in a museum. Of course, the web page is all you need these courses. Okay, are they available? Click 4 or 5 links to find out. Probably not, though. Then redo the entire process to try the next class. Oh, the nice thing is, it doesn't do adventure archaeology. It's quite faithful to at least the core tenets of the field. Oh, that's really good. I love that. That means I hope we're gonna get potsherds. You know what I mean? Like all the. That's very cool. I love that. So Inkle did, I think the first game they did was Around the World in 80 Days. So they do these text adventures, and they they do text adventures, and they have this language, the scripting language that I remember looking into, thinking about developing when I was like thinking about my video games and all that. And you can still use their language. I think they have a new open source version of it that you can use, and I think also for free. And I think people will use it for like some people use it on its own. Some people use it for dialogue and branching trees. I think about it in the same category as I think about something like, oh, what is that one language? Oh, golly. Let me see. Maybe I can find it. Hold on. What is it called? Oh, gee whiz. Uh, Programming. Twine. That's the one. Right. So I think about, and Inkle and Twine are different, right? But I think about Twine and Inkle as both being uh, programming scripting languages that people use for very text-based games, or also choice of games. Like I think of choice of games, Twine, and Inkle as being similar kind of scripting languages that people use for text-based games, but this is not a text-based game, and they were clearly using it's sort of like visual novels. Ren'Py, but I think of Ren'Py as being a little bit different. But for visual novels, visual text sort of games. But one of the things I remember hearing about Heaven's Vault is that people were really impressed with how they incorporated that basically graphically it's very interesting. People were very excited by it, so I'm very excited by it. Babbage does stuff in Twine, right? So that seems really interesting to me, right? CZZ says, it's so surprising and refreshing as someone who studied archaeology. Oh, you studied archaeology? Oh, I'm so excited that you're here. Yay. I majored not in archaeology, but I had to take 2 social science classes as an undergraduate. My 2 social science classes were archaeology classes. The history, archaeology of non-Western cultures and archaeological ethics, both of which were so cool. I learned so much, and I really, really, really enjoyed those 2 classes. So I'm very excited. Yeah, Rumpy is different because Python is a full function language. You can technically do just about anything in Rumpy. Yes, it is different. And I always think of them as being very, very different in vibe as well. Also, I think one of the differences is that I know a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but I know people will use Twine and Inkwrite. I can't remember what they're calling it nowadays. And to do branching narratives in other games. And I think the most recent version of this engine you can use with Unity, I think. So people like sometimes people will use these as like the engine for their conversations that they will then use in another scripting language. And I think people will often use Twine to do planning, like planning their dialogue trees and all of that, but then use Unity or something like that. So uh, I have been really excited about seeing what they did with this language because it seems pretty interesting to me. Atomic says, I'm gonna take a stick to the servers, I swear. Oh man, some of these, yeah, I know. It's so frustrating, and knowing there's no one in administrator right now that will tell me anything other than try the website is so frustrating. Oh, that is terrible. Bola says, how come Hyde, the visual novel, got much better trailer than many movies and TV series? Depp looked like a totally different person. That's a very good question. It's a very good question. Um, I will say this one other thing I was thinking about. So I looked them up. I looked at before. Okay, so as I was getting ready for the game today, I looked up Inkle because I was like, oh, what are they up to? And they have just come out with 2 new games that I have to play. They're apparently both very short, so that's exciting. But they're what they've been described as like the next generation of visual novel, which is very interesting to me to see. Apparently, they're kind of open world. We have to play them when we get around to it because I really want to see what it's like. And the first one is Overboard, and the second one is Expelled. And Overboard is a murder mystery where you did it. You, the player, your character, you did it. You did the murder, and you have to get away with it, right? So basically, the mystery is how to not get caught for the murder, and apparently it's very replayable. And I think that I need to find some way to, I don't know, involve Lindy somehow. But that seems really cool, and so I'm really excited to play Heaven's Vault, and then I'm excited, maybe a little bit down the line to sort of play these 2 other games, which apparently are very, very short games, which means that might only take me a few months. Apparently, it's like 2.5 to 5 hours, so you know me. But nonetheless, uh, I think we should play this game and see what happens. But get away with murder, and Trooper immediately thinks of Lindy, to which I say, fair. This is what I'm saying. Yes. You have Overboard my library. I need to play more of it. This feels loud to me. Climb the stone staircase, more ancient than the mind can imagine. Find the cornerstone, and under it, the copper box that is marked with his name. Unlock it. Open the lid. Take out the tablet of lapis lazuli. Read. The Epic of Gilgamesh, circa 1300 BCE. Ooh. Ooh. CZZ, you played a little bit of it. Did you like it? I hear it's got a lot of replayability. Krellin says, one of my favorite things is to find a Ren'Py game that's doing more than just being a visual novel. Me too, Krellin. Me too. Okay, you're influencing me asking you a question, but I think I need to ask me a question. Do it. Gilgamesh in space! So one of the things I was going to tell you is that I went to look up, I found all this stuff up when I went to go look up what the ESRB rating was so I can get content warnings, but there are no content warnings for this game. I don't think anything is going to be harmful, but that also meant that I didn't get to know anything about the game, which is fine. I did like it. I like that I could immediately get very flirty with one of the characters. Oh! CZZ, now I really need to make sure that Lindy plays this game. Flirty and getting away with murder? This is such a Lindy game. I have to find out. I have to, right? Roller says, the woods surround the walls of the Mansus. Wait, wrong game. Roller. Let's see. Okay. Atomica says, there's a music study class. I think it would be actually useful as part of my personal studies. Involves video game music. I think this class might help. That. Here's the description. What do you think? Also, what's the name of the class? Examination of multicultural sources of popular music. As an overview for non-music majors, the course is intended to broaden students' sociocultural perspectives through text-related lectures, listening to recordings, and viewing documentary videos. The diversity of American popular music offers a direct reflection of, and at times a focus for, many factors in identifying and appreciating subcultures of age, ethnicity, gender, race, region, and religion. Oh, that sounds good, actually. That sounds like a good course. I'm going to suspect that an ethnomusicologist is teaching it. Maybe not. It's possible that an ethnomusicologist is not teaching it, but it sounds a little bit like maybe an ethnomusicologist is teaching it, but it sounds like it'll be a good class. Popular music and... Oh, yeah, no, that sounds good, actually. Because, look, sometimes I can tell if the person teaching is going to be, like, musty and old and sad. This does not sound like a musty, old, sad person, is what I'm going to say from the description. Not surprising, I think most of the innovative use of Ren'Py seems to be adult games. Oh, I was going to talk about Ren'Py for a second. Thank you. I'm still looking forward to the traveling at night. Looks more like Disco Elysium with Cthulhu aspects. It's great. Heaven's Vault can get heavy, but it's telegraphed fairly well, and I generally am not sure I could pour it into a content warning that makes sense that would be useful to people. See, CZ, I get you. Hey, Musach, wie geht's? But why we did it, that's the question. Having some sort of motive can elevate a murder mystery when this story unravels later on. Yes. You did professional editing for an adult game? Oh, that's cool. Musty and old and sad. As they're in the mass school system, I PM them you their name. Oh, thank you. So about Ren'Py, I wanted to say something. Okay, hold on. We have to invert the y-axis. Nope. Yes. Okay. We have to invert the y-axis because that is my life. Okay. I was going to say something. Yes. So I really love it when people do interesting things with Ren'Py. And what I think is really fascinating is that there was a game I actually quite liked it. I thought it was a visual novel, not adult. But here's the thing about it. It is very old. And I'm going to see if I can find it, because I want to tell you the year, but it's got to be like... It is not a young game, it is an old game, but I want to tell you about it. It's Magical Diary? Magical Diary. Is it Horse Hall? There are two of them. It's by... Okay, so Magical Diary... Horse Hall, I think it is, by Hanako Games. So Hanako Games is like just one person, I'm pretty sure, and they make these visual novels. And this game came out in 2011, so it is, what, 14 years old? Yes. So this is a 14-year-old visual novel made in one of the much earlier versions of Ren'Py, right? And it has like a Diablo-style dungeon crawl section where you go through a labyrinth, right? Where you're like moving forward, going through a labyrinth. Combat, of course, is turn-based and all that. But I mean, this was 14 years ago, and they were doing some very cool things with Ren'Py that nobody thought that you could do, but of course you could do it. And like, I mean, really, nobody thought you could do that in Ren'Py, and they did. Like, you know, you have to go into this labyrinth to do your tests, like your exam tests for school. Oh, it's a good one, and it's like 14 years old, and it's really good, doing very cool things. So I was very impressed with that one. Also, there was a subversion of some stuff. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Max. About the music volume. Thank you. Let's see if that works good. Hey, Lone Kubi Gates. And then, of course, I really think that Doki Doki Literature Club did some really, really cool things using Ren'Py as well. So I'm just saying there's some, like, I love a good innovative game that does something with it. Oh, okay, we're starting. I grew up with a girl named Hanako. She and her mother, and her name pronounced it where is the, emphasis?
Stories don't have tidy beginnings. The past is always present.
Well, this is pretty. Hanako?
There has to be a spark. Something that brings the past to light.
Please climb carefully. First syllable, thank you. Oh, well, careful you don't roll backwards. Oh, is that the name? Was that? It's... Ooh. A long way. Most Japanese emphasize all syllables equally. I know, it's a cool robot. Hanako. Down. It's a long way down. Oh, take a moment to rest before you walk. Take a moment to rest before you walk. Mistress, please. Okay, so we have an energy bar. Okay, so if we exert ourselves too much, we'll probably run low on energy, which might be bad. We have got the ability to turn around a little bit, but limited movement, camera movement, but we do have some. Most Japanese, okay. 6 is my bestie. 6 is such a bitch. Oh, I want to know more about this robot. Okay. Oh, hey, we're zooming in. Our energy's full. Let's see. Oh, okay, we can walk. A very cool statue. Ooh. This is the summit? This is as far as the path goes. Well, all right. Okay, I wonder what kind of being this is. A bricked up opening. A bricked up opening. There is something here. To keep people out, do you think? Or to keep something in? There's something written here. Ooh, I'm being very good at not spoiling you. You will find out. Thank you so much. I thought it was number 5 is alive. All right, let's see. There's something written here. Ancient script. It must have been cut in when the mortar was still wet, but I think I can read it. Ooh. What I know about this game is that apparently we have to decipher ancient languages. That's one of the only things I know, which is why I thought that Prax might like this game. Oh! Opening credits, everybody. Speak, friend, to enter. Oh, hey, look at us, title screen. I need extra time in the day. Melon. And now you know your first words of ancient. The University of Iox, some weeks earlier. Ooh.
My story begins on Iox. That was where I met the robot.
I like her character. I love the art. It reminds me a little bit of, I mean, not a lot, but a little bit of Dreamfall, The Longest Journey. Mistress Alia? Ooh, I just met 6. I have been waiting for you. I have been asked to escort you to Professor Mayari. She is very anxious for your arrival. Ooh, ooh. Okay, hold on. We're gonna keep this here for a second because I want to see what chat has to say. Oh, can't. The professor did not account for her actions, but I imagine she is simply being welcoming. This way. Oh, do you have a name, robot? Oh, shh. Is that intended to be a joke, mistress? No? Robots do not have names. We are, as I understand it, interchangeable. Well, I have known a few robots. They're all a little different. How kind of you to say so, mistress. Um, so, how are things here on Lox? Iox. Iox does not change, mistress, or so I am assured. It is the single point of stability within the whirling nebula above. That's mysterious. Longest journey. This way. You should know that the professor's urgency was remarkable. Okay. Uh, is this going to move forward? Hold on. I'm going to just hit this pause button because I don't want it to move forward without me saying something. Because I was like, oh, because they moved forward the last time. So I want to catch up on chat. Let's see. Not Miskatonic, disappoint. I know. I've sent a message to my advisor to check on that class. Got to wait like 2 weeks now. I reserved a seat in a sacrificial class in case it doesn't go through. Yeah. So now I'm taking a critical method class, a composition class, the sacrificial one as an autobiographical writing class in French 101. That's not bad at all, actually. Um, yeah, we'll move forward if you don't respond. A non-response is something characters will also respond to. Interesting. So now I know. Now I know. I just wanted to say that it reminded me of Dreamfall: The Longest Journey in that both of those were sort of future world games with that were set on the aesthetic of like North Africa. Uh, Longest Journey was set in Casablanca, and I just think that's really cool that we get to have aesthetic and architecture from places other than like Toronto being New York. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's all. I think that's cool. I like to see other uh parts of the world. Also, this is cool. The pause screen tells you what your current mission is, and that is very, very cool. Let's see. Question. Uh, look at her. Look at her. She looks like a tiger in a cage. A most curious analogy, mistress. You understand, I will be required to report it. Required to? Oh, interesting. Of course. Professor Mayari is my primary user, mistress. Nevertheless, I will try to sugarcoat your opinion. Okay. Interesting that we have a question of, like, reply with a question or not. You do that for me? Of course, I have been tasked with your well-being. Shall we proceed? Okay, wait, Tree of Knowledge. Uh, the Tree of Knowledge, or so they call it. Each branch grows more branches. The Holy Empire? What is this? Ooh! I'm learning things. Uh, I know it's not a perfect system and I have to study and learn properly, but I'm doing pretty good with French in Duolingo, so that should give me a jump start. The fun part being when I can't remember the words in French, I usually cause the German. Oh man, I have a problem between Spanish and German. The tree is still there. The university, the whole university centers around it. IOX. Uh, just updated. I wonder. Oh, 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 whoa. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Oh, wow. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Timeline. This is very cool. Okay, cool. Um. Oh, okay. So the ancient. Sorry, this is just kind of cool. Uh, is that bad that I'm really excited about this because I am. Yes, we need the timeline. So ancient time, ancient empire, the Holy Empire, which is when the tree was, and then the Dark Age, and then now. So we have this. What do we know? The Holy Empire. Ooh. Uh, the Holy Eoxian Empire, based out of the Imperial Palace and ruled by a deified emperor. The Dark Age, but I would like, can we do this? No? Let's see. I want to maneuver, not to now. Here, select here. Select. Woo! Oh. Oh, no, I don't want to select that way. Let's go... Oh, I think we can zoom. Let's see. Holy Empire. There. Okay, and then we can probably... let's see. Pan. Woo! The last emperor disappears. The crown of Iox is formed. Oh, okay. So the crown of Iox was forged. According to legend, it was made for the first empress herself. Ooh, okay. All right. But let's see what else we can find out. The last emperor disappears. Iox fell to invaders and the empire was destroyed, but the emperor himself escaped. His body was never found. Crown of the Iox Empire was lost. Somehow, during the fall of the Iox, the crown that had been the mark of the emperors for centuries disappeared, along with the last emperor. Somebody stole it. And then, 350 years ago, the fall of Iox. The emperor's palace was stormed, the royal family murdered, the guard ships destroyed, and the nebula fell into disarray for centuries. Okay, so then let's I think that was the Holy Emperor Empire. I think we're back now, so I think we just are back now. Oh, I just think that's really exciting to me. Woo! Oh my gosh. Things are happening. We are scrolling. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, whoa, hold on. Sorry. We're finding out things. My birth was 30 years ago, and you have the Gray Ladies Orphanage. Oh, the founding of the Iox Protectorate. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, okay. We have some new things here, right? All right, all right, all right, right. So we just have to we have to figure this out. The tree planted in Iox, we saw that. Then we have the last emperor disappears. We have that, right? So let's, I think we can, we did that. I think I want to, oh, Holy Empire, probably, maybe? The Fall, right? Oh, okay. The Fallers destroyed the Empire, but they never extended their reach beyond Iox. Generations passed in obscurity. Hmm. Okay, and now we're in Iox. The Loop Temple reestablished in Iox. The Loop faith of the Holy Empires revived on Iox. The University of Iox is established, founded to study the events within the loop. It soon expanded to cover robotics, mathematics, Hopper physics, and other fields. Miari visits the orphanage on Elbereth. What brought her here I've never understood. Mayari takes me to Iox. It was on Iox that my tuition began in earnest. Ooh, okay, so this I don't know, department chair, Mayari, this professor, she got us out of the orphanage. Okay. Mayari takes over Iox. Mayari took over the leadership of the university after a predecessor. Oh, so she's actually the university president. Okay. I joined the university. I begin to study formally in the same group as Huang. I get my third robot, but there are definitely problems with this one. Professor Mayari wants me back on Iox 4 hours ago. Hopefully I'm not getting thrown out of the university. Okay, and so then I have just arrived. Oh, Whatever Professor Mori wants to tell me is so urgent. She said a robot to stop me getting lost. This is cool. That's all. This is just very cool. Just want to say it. This is very, very cool, and I like it. Yes. Uh, so the question isn't why is telling whoever this professor is that you are questioning things. Why is telling them that? You got me reading the IPX book from Babylon 5 RPG. Ooh, nice. Tell me all more about it. Does this game use after first nuke launch during 4 days or for carbon dating read-ins? Maybe. Complete different universe, so no issues with climate change, fucking with the carbon 14 dating. That is good. Let's see. Just a little step to the left, then a jump to the right. Good news, we don't have student loan debt. The timeline says so. This is good. Hey Zanzibar, we are playing this game. Uh, oh, well, welcome in, because I was trying to play all the winners of the Independent Game Festival's Excellence in Narrative award, and COVID messed up our rhythm on that one. Zanzibar says, I don't mean to spoil anything or tell you how to feel, but you're gonna love this game. Oh. Interplanetary expeditions. We don't have student loan debt, but we have a debt to Mayari, definitely. Does seem like it, right? Okay, let's see. Let's go back. Mayari wanted to see me about something. She seemed to think it was urgent. Right, so now exit. Great. Until you finally reach the sun, wherever that is. Let's remark. I went outside the university grounds once, exploring. This is a very beautiful moon. You can tell it was once lush, fertile. Must have been huge forests, lakes, rivers. They're all but dry now. Hey, we can ask a question. You've not been outside? No. I suppose
I was 15 when Mayari rescued me from the slums of Elbereth and brought me here. I'd never seen such luxury or such kindness.
What do you think of the sculpture? It has a pleasing balance to it. I agree. Maria must like it too. She has a model just like it on her desk. Suppose we can walk a bit? Oh, there she is in there. I want to talk to my robot more, but I think if I wait too long, Maria will get mad at me because she apparently has something very urgent
I still
to
don't
say.
know why she did it.
Did what? Professor Mayari? Aliyah, there you are. Come in. I came as soon as I got your message. Oh, go walk the dogs, Max. You don't need to flatter me, Aliyah. Nonetheless, I'm glad you came. I know your work is important to you. I'll do what I can to help you, Professor. Thank you, Aliyah. I appreciate your kindness. You're our expert on history. Tell me what you make of this. Well, it's certainly old. Empire period. The device is the Eagle and Sun. One of the scholars sent this brooch to me. Janiki Rebna. Do you know him? Maybe. I'm not sure. Look at the detail. I see them. Ancient markings. I know they're a hobby of yours. Aliyah, but can you read them? Ooh. Oh, okay. We're getting something. Oh, something's happening. Well, I've never seen either of these groupings before, but the two words have some common elements, so they must have related meanings. Well, okay, probably holy? Maybe? Oh, okay, holy. So they have related meanings. Beloved, no, can I go back? Maybe friend? This might be friend. Let's, try friend. And, beloved, perhaps? Maybe. I'm guessing we're putting things in there. Review? Friend? Em so it can either be like Holy Emperor or Friend Beloved. So there are, I mean, they have to be related. Oh, wait, hold on. They had that weird religious thing going on with their emperor, so let's go with Holy Emperor because that was some kind of a kind of religious thing going on. So let's try that. Holy Emperor, but I'm only guessing. Uh, you don't think it actually belongs? No, no. What is this about? Janiki told me he'd found something that was more than a month ago. Uh, Janiki isn't like you. I like her art. I like these character models. He's an Eoxian through and through. Um, you're worried about him. Also, no items from Emperor Buddy's era. He's important to me, and I don't know what he was doing out there. He told me he was going to a moon called Meerzi. I can't go hunting the nebula for missing people, Lilia, but you can. That's what you do, isn't it? Find things? I'll see what I can dig up. It's a pun. See what I can dig up. Ooh, thank you. Come back when you have found him, Aaliyah. You can now visit Meerzi in the Verdant Pass. Oh, and Aaliyah, you're taking that robot with you. Thank you, Professor. I long to see the nebula. Oh, that conversation went by so fast. Oh, and before you go, you should look in on Huang. He was eager to see you. Oh, eager? Why? It's all going so fast. Aaliyah, really, I couldn't possibly imagine. I know he's rather beneath you, but you could at least say good faith to him. For the benefit of our little community. Uh, I'll go and find him. I don't know what this... There's some drama here, people. He's down there, by the tree. You must have walked straight past him on your way in. Good hunting, my dear. Okay, there's some drama here. There's clearly drama that I do not know about, but we're going to find out about. I'm going to go to inscriptions. We're going to find out what we have here. I really love this conversation. It immediately sets up the relationship between Ali and Miara. Yes, it does. 6 looks a bit like Johnny 5. A little bit, yes. Emperor Buddy, is that like Buddy Christ from Clerks Dogma? Yes, yes. The game doesn't explain it, but I did. Yes. So this Empire brooch in the shape of the eagle and the sun, that feels to me like a holy emperor. That's what it feels like. But it could be, right? I mean, these are all our unsolved inscriptions, all inscriptions. Oh, so technically it looks like this is unsolved. Okay, okay, okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Ooh, oh. Professor Mirai, I suppose I don't to go to sail to Mersey. We're not going to go there right now because we have to talk to Huang. Whatever. Okay, hold on. So Elbereth is my home. Interesting. It's where I moor up when I want to sleep well, but not today. Okay, we go there. We want to sleep well. We're here in Iox. Professor Mari wants me to sail to find her friend. I suppose I don't have much of a choice. Mears is a tiny rural moon. It's where Janiki told Professor Mari he would be going. But why are we visiting a rice farm? I could go there next. Oh, just note, Renaki's a market moon, far outside the reach of Iox. I've never been there. I would just like to point out that there's a lot of attention to detail in this game, and I appreciate that very much. Oh, look! In the background, Mari's going down to the, going back into her office. Love that. Can I just say, Mistress Aaliyah, it's wonderful to be accompanying you. Oh, if you're going to be following me around, I'll have to give you a name. I'm calling you Six. Six, mistress? I shall remember that. I wonder if I got Mary's translation correct. I think I did. The shape shows this is an empire piece. Oh, oh, hey, I was right. Hey. and the emperor believed themselves to be gods, so it makes sense the words would be almost the same. Hey, I was right. Whew. Okay, but it still doesn't tell me, where did this thing come from? I learned the ancient word for holy. I feel excited myself. Okay, so hold on. I saw something. It said, where were you? Zanzibar says that there might be a text speed option, but it's going too fast. I think, hey, Artie, how are you? Artie, we're playing a game. Six or Catherine for sure. Let's see if we can find the settings. Hold on, let me exit. Here we go. Let's go to the settings. And let's have the text speed be a little slower. Not because I can't read fast, but because I like to look at both chat and text, and that might make things easier. So you're in Warhammer 40K, but the farther future? Uh, 7 of 9, 6, 7 of 9. Oh, wait. Why was 9 afraid of 7? No. Why was 10 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Ah! That is such a bad joke. That is like such a third grade joke. I love it. Uh, it's 6 afraid of 7. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's so bad, right? Uh, oh, you're right. Okay, wait, I have another one, but not, some of you will get this, some of you won't. Um, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Um, what, what lies between sex and fear? Fünf. Uh, that is a, thank you, Atomica. Fünf. That is a bilingual German English joke. Uh, because what lies between sex and fear is fünf, because in German, 4, 5, 6 is vier, fünf, sechs. So in the Ecke, okay, Message is. I look, Message, I know that it's really bad. I know that's a bad joke, but sometimes you just really like bad jokes because they make me laugh. Oh, because it's a bad one. That's bad, but it's so good. Message put me in the Ecke, put me in the corner. I love it. But it was good. Oh gosh, sorry. It's a nice joke. I just don't think in German. No, yeah. I love it when there's like just a couple of jokes that only make sense if you're bilingual. And I have one, and I love it, but it's Trooper does things for fun. Thank you for fun. All right, I'm going to tell you one more joke, but most of you will not get it. But if you listen, even if you do not speak German, you'll probably get some of it, right? But I have to tell this joke, and I have to tell it in German. But just work with me, right? Humor is no joking matter in Germany. So the setup for this joke is, I'm going to tell you, there are these. So first, you have to know this. I learned this joke in Bavaria. In Bavaria, the people that you make fun of for being, if you have like dumb jokes, people who are not smart, in Bavaria, they tell those jokes about Austrians. I understand that in northern Germany, they tell them about people from from the Plattdeutsch, which is like another part of northern Germany. My mother's favorite joke was, where did Napoleon hide his armies? In his sleeves. In his sleeveys. That's good. That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. So the setup is, I'm going to tell you the setup and then I'm going to tell you the joke. The setup is that there are these. So remember, Austrians are the dumb ones in Bavarian jokes, and there's this Austrian who's going to go to America for the first time, but he doesn't speak any English and he doesn't know what to do. And his friend says, "Okay, you can speak English. The only way if you want to speak English, um, yeah, basically, yeah, yes, Krellin, it is. How many Germans it take to fix a light bulb? One. Germans are efficient, but not very funny. Yeah, dumb blonde jokes or redneck jokes or yeah, all those. Yeah. So it's Austrian. He's going to go to America for the first time on vacation, but he doesn't speak any English. So he asks his friend, "What am I supposed to do? I don't speak English." And his friend says, "Oh, it's not a big deal. If you want to speak, if you don't, all you have to do is just speak High German, but slowly and loudly, and everyone will understand you." Right. So that's the setup. And then context does matter, Krellin. And if you uh one of your cleanest jokes is a blonde joke. And he's gonna basically go to he's gonna go fly to the United States, go to the restaurant and the bar, and he's gonna order food. So this is the joke, okay? Es gibt einen Österreicher und geht ins Urlaub nach Amerika, aber er spricht kein Englisch. Und er denkt, ei, was mache ich denn? Ich spreche kein Englisch, was tue ich? Oh, mei. Und das Freund sagt, ist kein Problem, sprich einfach nur Hochdeutsch, aber langsam und laut. Dann geht es. Und er sagt, okay. Dann fliegt er nach Amerika und ins so Flughafen, er geht ins Restaurant. Er geht in Restaurant und er setzt sich. Und dann kam die Bedienung, so right, the waitress. Die Bedienung sagt, okay, hello, what would you like to eat? Er sagt, okay, English. Okay. Kann ich ein Menü haben, bitte? Und die Bedienung sagt, Menü. Oh, sie geht weg, kommt zurück mit einem Menü. Er sagt, oh, okay. Er sieht den Menü an. Kann ich ein Bier und ein Salat haben, bitte? Bedienung, okay. Bier, Salat. Aha, geht weg, zurück. Ein Bier und Salat. Und dann, sie sagt, woher kommst du? She says to him, where do you come from? Er sagt, ich komme auch Österreich. I come from Austria. Sie sagt, ich komme auch aus Österreich. So she says, I also am from Austria. Dann sagte er, dann warum sprechen wir Englisch? And so he says, then why are we speaking English? I thought that was funny. It requires a little bilingualism, but I just think that one's funny, right? Because there's so many cognates that makes me happy. Whew. Two blondes decide they want to go to Disney World. They start driving south. They're reading the signs, excited with each one entering New York. That they cheer Mason-Dixon line. They're hyped entering Florida. They're ecstatic. Disney World left. They got sad and went. That one's good. That's good, Atomica. That made me laugh. You speak German, CC? Oh, good. Blonde had got a driver's license and a rookie cop stopped her. Blonde showed her her hand mirror and the cop said, I didn't know you were a cop too. I love these jokes. They're so, yeah. Three guys walk into a bar, the fourth one ducks. Oh, that's a good one. I do like that one. Oh, okay. We have a, oh, hey, the waters. Look, the graphics are really nice in this game. Let's find out what Huang has to say. We apparently have a complicated relationship with him. Aaliyah, I like the kind of ghostliness of these characters. I didn't know you were back on Iox. How are you, Huang? They have history. Well enough. I've been reading all day. I just came outside to rest my eyes, and there you were. What were you reading? I don't know what a relationship is like yet. The annals, again. Did you know Mazwai claims the Holy Empire was founded by three wolves racing to heaven? Each one tore the throat of the other, and as the three fell to earth, are you really interested? Absolutely. I mean, it might be important. Well, all right. Most people glaze over.
He began to talk with such passion that his eyes glittered. and he seemed to grow at least an inch taller.
I like our voice actress. Aaliyah? Yes. You weren't listening. Never mind. I'll walk you to the dock. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Is something the matter? Huang, do you know Janiki Renba? I'd like this. But I know Renba, of course. Well, a little. Why? What sort of man is he? Not... He hasn't asked you to dinner, has he? I thought that he and Professor Mayari were important to each other. You know, important. What's that? I don't think so. No, more than she is with any of her ex-students. He's fairly quiet, keeps to himself, likes his robots. What did he teach? Robotics. That's what I meant. One of the best. One of the few. Did you say did? Has something happened to Janiqui? I don't know, Wong. I'm sure it's nothing bad. Oh, my. But before you go, it hardly seems important now, but, I found a line of ancient in the annals of Mazwai I thought you might like, if you have time, that is. Always. I want to know more ancient. Here, see what you think. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, we're getting more words. We're getting whoosh. Huh, I know one of these words. I'll have to guess the other two. Ooh, okay, everybody. I'm gonna catch up on chat. Not very well. My reading is way better than my speaking, but high school in the Netherlands makes you learn at least a bit of German. Oh, yes. I have to tell you something then, CZZ. It's about Dutch. Do you know how many brilliant people I've told that joke and confused them for days? But it's a good one. I like that one. Bethesda NPC Walkbys. I do like when you get a living world. I'm kind of struggling today. I got hit with a wave of depression last night and got to bed really late last night, so I got up really late. Yeah, make sure you drink water, hydrate, maybe take a nice walk. I love that you're going for all the nice dialogue options. Well, because I don't know what our relationship is yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, I don't want to, like, come off as, like, why escalate? Right? Yeah. Oh, yes, have some food, too. So, Dutch. I was living in Germany, and it was before I was completely fluent, but I was pretty fluent. I was feeling pretty good about it. And this ad came on the TV, and it was like stars, so Whitney Houston, and it was just like a lot of English words, and I was like, I do not understand what this ad is saying, and I couldn't get why I couldn't understand this ad because I was like, but I do speak German. How come I'm not understanding this? Is it because there's too much English in there? It's messing me up, and I couldn't get it. And then at the very end, we finally got text, and I was like, oh, this is Dutch. This is not German. But there wasn't enough of the language for me to ping that it wasn't actually German, right? Because there was just so much English in it, but it wasn't German. And yes, and so I that's what I have to say. So okay, we have Empress, right? Oh no, no. Okay. Oh, okay, all right. So this is similar to holy. Oh, we can get related words. Interesting. Uh-huh. Okay, so this one would seem maybe powers, perhaps? Because it's related to holy. Maybe powers. And this seems very unrelated. Empress powers, maybe maybe buried or banished. Those two things are quite similar. I'm not seeing any overlap at all. Buried, banished. Let's... The Empress. Let's go with maybe banished. Maybe? Maybe. Maybe. Ooh. No, banished. We're gonna go with that. Continue. That made me laugh. That makes so much sense for someone learning German as a second language, right? I think that's correct. Quite a monster, isn't it? Something about the Empress? Eh, Mazwai is always writing about emperors. I think she was a Republican? Uh, I'd best not keep you. I hope you find him. Well, thank you. Shall we proceed to your ship now? Let's get out of here. I was going to ask, but I know that he's never been outside of the... And so we left the hallowed walls of the university. I know he's never been out traveling before. Oh. Hey, we're in our timeline. I learned the ancient for holy. Ooh. An emperor. I got another robot. Mari seems to trust me. Wants me to find her friend. Oh, look at us. Love us. I got a passage from the Annals of Mazwai. Spoke to Wong. Okay, I suppose we continue. I like this. So speaking of this, CZZ, it's a little bit different, but I had a friend of mine, so you know I was in the army, aboard the Nightingale. My ship is my refuge. It's the only place that's truly mine. So I was in the army, and I did military intelligence, which meant that everybody I was hanging out with was a linguist of some sort. Well, not everybody, but you know, many people were linguists. And a friend of mine who was a Czech linguist, and she was, when I knew her, she'd already left the army. So I joined in 1990. So she was serving in the 80s, which means she was still serving. She was serving before the fall of the Berlin Wall. And she was describing, and she was in a bar in Berlin once, and she was describing being drunk and, or was she Czech or was she Russian? I think she might have been a Russian linguist. I mean, look, there were far more Russian linguists than there were Czech linguists. I think she was a Russian linguist. Anyway, she was in this bar, and she was chatting up this Russian guy, and they were chatting with each other all night. They were both very, very drunk, and they were chatting to each other for hours and hours, but they were having a really hard time really understanding each other. But it turns out that he was speaking Czech the entire time and not Russian, but like it was close enough that they were like just close enough that they could sort of understand each other. But anyway, I was thinking about that, and I just thought that was amusing. When languages are close enough, but not as close enough to make you think you can almost understand it. You know what I mean? That sort of thing where you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, they were drunk, but you know, you know. Dutch and German are very similar until they're not, and then you seriously offend someone. Yes. The journey to Mersey should be quick, mistress. Um, you think Mari's friend is in trouble? Hello, little robot. As I say, mistress, we should know shortly if we depart. What do you know about Mersey? I'd have thought about Holland, about the Netherlands. Nothing. It is a moon of pigs and rice, mistress. Part of the Ajax Protectorate, of course. Uh, Maybe Mersey will have a few ruins of its own. It's like British American English and how they're similar until they're really not. Oh, I really like my boat. That seems unlikely, but it is not wealthy. Nonetheless, I will prepare the ropes. Ooh, we're doing space sailing. That is very cool. That's kind of like what Space 1889, right? Maybe. Ooh. Elborth is my home. It's where I moored when I went Okay. Yeah. I know where we're going. But hey, look. This is us, I think. We're going to go here. I Mersey is where. But why does a roboticist want to visit a rice farm? I could go there next. I think we should actually slow down our chest a little bit more. Um, Solar sails, yes. What do we know about Mersey? Vulpes. Vulpes, I want you to know that what you said right there in chat is what I was thinking in my head. Mersey dotes and dozy dotes and little Mersey dotes and dozy dotes and little Amsey Ivy. Similar, but I put even weirder. Deep in the Star Ocean. Oh yes. You know what I thought was really interesting, CZZ, in my experience, um, because Dutch is not as spoken as German. This was my experience, and I'm not telling CZZ anything new, most likely, but this might be interesting for other people. So, I found that people from the Netherlands all spoke very good English. They're very good with their English. And I found that there are many Germans who speak very, very good English, but there are some Germans who don't speak any English at all. Not as often, but I mean, it does happen. And one of the things that I was talking to people, my German friends, about this, and they said that one of the differences is that because Dutch has a smaller market, it is not as cost effective. Basically, they don't dub everything into Dutch, so almost everything is in the original language with subtitles, whereas German has a large enough economy, large enough market that they often subtitle things. So they often dub things rather than subtitle things. So if you're hanging out in Germany and you're going to watch the Cosby Show, you're going to be watching it in German. Uh, Dubbed, right? And so you'll be watching maybe some American things or British things or other things, but it'll be dubbed into German. Whereas in the Netherlands, it's often in the original language, English, right, but with subtitles. So my understanding is that because of that, they tend to have better English. That is what I was told. Older generation are more likely to speak Polish or Russian in Germany. Yeah, yes. Or if they were in Bavaria, just speak Bavarian and yeah, older generations, like especially it's like older generations or people who come from East Germany, right? They'll get Polish or Russian, or if they're just older yeah, yeah. It is, and we have a strong history of trade, so learning multiple languages is incentivized too. And I just thought that was really interesting because I think that maybe it's not something that we would have thought about, but because thinking about that, if you have a small enough language, you're more likely to learn other languages because you'll have things that are subtitled rather than dubbed. And I thought that was super interesting to think about. Um, yeah, I thought that was super interesting to think about because it was one of those things that just hadn't occurred to me at the time. I was like, oh, and for me, sorry, just the thought is that we um we like to go with nature. I literally had French, German, English, and Dutch in high school, and then Latin and Greek too. Wow, wow, that's really impressive. So people like to say things like people like to make everything like uh, nature. Like, well, people are just genetically better at languages. People like to do things like this all the time, right? But I don't think that's true. Uh, I don't think that's true. But also, I think about how people will say, well, um, so here's a joke. Here's a joke. I'm going to tell you a joke. It is relevant to this conversation. What do you call somebody who speaks two languages? What is the name for a person who speaks two languages? Somebody there in chat knows. I have to wait for you to respond. No, no, just two languages. Just two. What would you call someone who speaks two languages? Thank you, Krellin, bilingual. What would you call someone who speaks three languages? Trilingual, thank you. And what would you call someone who speaks only one language? American. But I'm bumped. Uh, this, thank you, Krillin. Thank you. Clapper Glitch is like, when they say genetics, do they mean infinity? I don't think they know what they mean, honestly. Right? So here's the thing. First off, many Americans do speak more than one languages, right? It's a little bit unfair to Americans because many of us do speak more than one language. But I will say that when I moved to Europe, I could see why it is that many Europeans speak more than more languages. There are more Europeans who speak more than one language than we do, and part of it is that when I lived in there's a lot of monolingual Chinese and Japanese as well. Right. When I lived in Germany, on the television in Germany, when I was living in Bavaria, I could see things in French, Italian, like, because you were just getting more television stations in more than like it was very uh, standard and regular to hear other languages just on your TV when you're flipping through the dials. And I imagine if you were in northern Germany, you would get other languages, right? Just and also on the radio, I would listen to the radio and I'd hear songs in Italian all the time and Spanish all the time. And just on the regular radio, I'd hear all these different languages. And uh, I was lucky to grow up in San Francisco, so I actually did hear Cantonese a lot, and I picked up a little bit of Cantonese. Not much, right? But like it was part of my day-to-day life. You couldn't really grow up in San Francisco and not learn Gong Hei Fat Choi, like, Happy New Year and that kind of stuff. And little things here and there. So I kind of think that it might be easy to think, oh, that's just like somehow genetics. It's not, but I think that we somehow don't realize sometimes how little things make a big difference, right? About do you get regularly in your media, are things in other languages and subtitled, or are they all dubbed, or how much do you get access to things in other languages? And especially before the internet gave us access to things all the time, you know? You know what I'm saying? Nationalism versus culturalism. Yeah, 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 absolutely. I think people that say that people are just naturally better at languages are really looking for justification for not learning languages, or they don't see the work, right, that's involved. Some of it is the nature. Yeah, copper glitch. That's the other thing too. Some of it is the nature of geography. The United States is massively huge, and uh, like most countries in Europe, were other countries at some point. That's also true. Culture, environment, and perspective mold us. Absolutely. Uh, does American tourist have a moment where they hear their language accent abroad and go, "Oh, dang, our folks run. Oh, hello, fellow countrymen." Finns stop speaking Finnish when there are other Finns within 100 meters. Do they really? Oh, wow, that's so interesting. Have returned with snacks. Welcome snacks. Yeah, and I was thinking about like, and I think that I think it's really easy to miss how small little things matter, and sometimes big things. Like for example, take for example the United States, right? Aside from German, naive, I know English because all the games with the violence in it were in English. See, but that's another thing, right? That's really interesting. I know a lot of people who are really into anime, and they picked up little bits of Japanese that way, right? Because they had access to anime. But I was thinking about something about the United States specifically that people who don't know the United States may not get, that impacts how much we know in terms of languages. And that is one, we're a massively huge country, we're like an entire continent wide, and because of how the United States works economically, um, like the average amount of vacation a US person gets is 2 weeks, and that's average, which means there are people who get no vacation. We don't get as much vacation as people in Europe do. And we also are very huge. So many Americans don't get to travel abroad, right? So, right, like so many Americans never get to travel abroad. So they're not going to be exposed necessarily to other languages. Whereas when I was living in Augsburg, Germany, I could get on a train and go to Italy, and it would take me just a couple of hours and I would be in Italy, right? And it was, and actually, yeah, that like just a lot of there are many many different countries within a very short train trip. So you could just get to other places. Like there's so many Americans that just don't have passports at all because it costs money and they're probably never going like I mean you could I've not even been to all the United States yet. You know what I mean? Lindy, I think, has been to almost all the 50 states road tripping around, but like it was my very when I drove from um Massachusetts to Washington, that was my very first time passing through Montana, North Dakota, such a huge country. And I haven't, like I haven't traveled through Canada even. And I think that sometimes people can forget the enormity of the country. It's pretty huge. Yeah. Um, yeah. The only issue, here we go, like this. Nani? Uh, Extra credits tend to say a reminder that the United States are actually 50 countries that struggle to get along. Copper glitches. My Spanish came back when I was watching Narcos. Going to your point about subtitles. Oh yeah, my Spanish is rusty, but right? But do you and think about Narcos? Narcos, you would never have gotten access to Narcos, generally speaking, 30 years ago, right? Now that we have the internet, I mean, those of you who are old enough will remember, like when I watched Doctor Who back in the 80s, the BBC had things time locked, so we would only get British TV shows a year later, and that was only if your PBS station carried it. So you often just could not get access to things unless you knew people in that country. But nowadays you can often find things on YouTube or Netflix. And so we're in a much more globalized space now, which does also impact people knowing stuff, right? Atomica says, the only issue of you learning Japanese from anime is like learning English from rock music or pro wrestling. People don't really speak that way. But it's pretty exciting though, huh? It is pretty exciting. Crone says, if only there was one language spoken in Europe, most Europeans would only speak that language. That's true, actually. That is true. And yeah, that's true. CZZ says, it's so much easier to go abroad here. Yeah, I can literally go to Germany and there in like a couple of hours, right? Absolutely. And yeah, and you all, yes. Abroad means something different when your country is the size of Europe. It's really true. Copper Glitch says, I can drive 6 hours and not leave California. Yeah, it's like a 6-hour drive from LA to San Francisco if you drive kind of fast. Americans do not travel, especially now. They economically and infrastructurally are isolated. It's true. It's true. CZZ says, there's no direct trains right now, but that's because the station is being renovated. I mean, it's just such a different, like the geography matters so much, right? America also has its own sense of manifest destiny, so they can focus on only speaking their language. You know, Artie, sort of, right? But I think it also depends, right? There was that moment where if you go back earlier, well, I mean, this is okay, Artie, you're not wrong, but it's also complicated, right? Because the United States, unlike many other countries, does not have an official language because there was a time when it was like 50-50 English and German, right? The reason why we don't have an official language in the United States is because there were so many German speakers that they couldn't really decide one way or the other. And that's the complicated, and of course, there was a real push to like knock that off. But before World War II, I mean, here's the thing. Uh, this is going to be another planet, Max, another planet. The Czech Republic, they had a duty-free shop at the border. Yes. RIP PBS. Oh, Copper Glitch. Don't make me sad. In my experience, is that a lot of Americans pick up traveling to the military service. It's true. That's where I got it. I was only able to go to abroad such because of being in the military. And I'm really grateful to that. If I hadn't joined the military, I would not have gone to Korea, to Germany. I got to see so much of the world because of that. And that, that was the only way I would have been able to do it at the time. Yeah. Time locks were huge back in the day. So annoying too. YouTube is a channel that plays full Doctor Who episodes. It's been around a while, I guess, so it's legal. I tell some of my coworkers who are right-leaning that there isn't a national language and their heads explode, but it's true. Oh yeah, definitely complicated, but I imagine it plays, oh, absolutely 100%. 100% already sag. It's like that complicated thing, right? Yeah, that's a pretty in-depth thing. Like back when my parents were kids, it was illegal to speak French in public schools in Maine, which had a sizable French-speaking Zanzibar. Yes, that's another thing too. We started just making it illegal in places. Our tyrant made English official language in an executive order on March. Did he really? Like, it's not good for PBS, but most PBS funding came from elsewhere. Yeah, we're gonna plot a course there. Oh, hey, look at this. Oh, okay. Woo! We're plotting a course. Let's set sail. Okay. Ooh, so tiny rural moon. These days it's more region locking than time. Yeah. Sailing to Mersey in the Verdant Pass.
My Ari wanted us to sail to Mersey. It was a short sail through fast waters.
Look at this. Oh! This is gorgeous and cool. Go right, mistress. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna go right. I see the force of the river is fastest in the middle, mistress. Oh! Hey, we're navigating. By the way, we actually do have oh, okay, no. On the surface, it appears the same, but there are deeper currents below. No, I want to go this way. No, left sail. Oops, I missed turning. Oh, reset. Ooh, I'm learning. Okay, it's not the sticks, it's the buttons. Got it. Sail right. Woo. R2. Okay, no, not R1. Okay, I'm learning. Sweep sail, what does that do? Woo! Oh, golly, okay. Oh. Okay. This is your ship, mistress? Yes? Yes. What do you think? What questions or not? Okay. Oh, gosh. Ooh. She is very beautiful, mistress. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. 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 But I cannot help wondering how you came by her. Um, well, oh, I almost hit a brick. I'm gonna reply. Oh my gosh. I found her in a ruined hall on Elbereth covered in dust. Oh. She must have been someone's prized possession once. Uh, she's mine now. It's very intense. I think we're there. That's Mersey. You can see the greenery from here. We are spelljammering. I will try not to end up in a wormhole. Mersey, a farming moon. If Renba's here, I need to find him. If he's not, I need to work out where he went. Ooh, a bit of a mystery. A bit of a mystery. Uh, okay. This is some Last Exile shit right here. Uh, yeah. Oh, left-hand speaker. You know, Volus, I was watching this, uh, because there's been this work on preserving French Cajun Creole uh, in Louisiana, and I was watching this little documentary about like really working on the preservation of it, and there were like some native speakers left, and they were talking about how like speaking French Creole was also made illegal in Louisiana, right? That they were specifically deliberately trying to crush and destroy the French speaking, right? So like we had all these people speaking all these different languages, and there were like, some very deliberate attempts made to quash that and sort of erase those people's cultures. So it is complicated, right? So it's hyperspace with sails, solar sails. I was doing something different for a moment, and you said something like this. Is this your ship? Oh, it's like, what? Well, I got off the Royals on Renex, Volpez. Steal is such an ugly word. I much prefer creatively acquire. Klinger mash, yes. I honestly read that as Remba. I was thinking maybe Reba. Mainstream news claim that potato and tomato are related, so one can argue that vodka is a type of tomato juice and tater salad is a fruit salad. I would not want to argue that. Nobody expects the frig roller. That's funny. White supremacists like to race cults. Yeah, I mean, since French Creole was mostly smart black people, yeah. But also, I was thinking. Here's the other thing I was thinking. Right, that I mean, I don't know how much you know this. I mean, sure, many of you do. But before World War II, like a lot of our big Finland also banned Sami kids using their own language. Oh, I know, right? That's terrible. Um, but in the United States, the big push to homogenization was in the 50s, post World War II. Pre World War II, um, radio stations were regularly there was usually one radio station that was like the non-English radio station, and they would have hours. Like 1 hour would be like the Yiddish hour, then you'd have like the Polish hour, then you'd have the hour for black music, then you'd have the Italian hour. So like they would like the radio station would run all this stuff in different languages. And there was like, you know, Italian opera and Yiddish opera and like the Polish, like there was a lot of stuff in other languages happening in the US. Um, and which language would depend on what part of the country you're in, right? If you're in the Dakotas, you'd probably have a lot of Finnish, right? And Swedish. But during World War II, there was it became really not cool to not speak English. And also we were putting people in internment camps. And so a lot of people basically did not pass their language on to their kids, and a lot of that sort of non-English language, like the newspapers, we had a lot of newspapers and radio shows and things like that. They all sort of went away post World War II, which is a real bummer, right? It's a real bummer. Uh, Tomatoes and peppers are both fruits, so salsa is technically a fruit salad. America, we don't need diversity, but they're both nightshades. I will just say,
We stepped off the ship and
what?
into the mud.
Oh,
Mud covered the ground and rock,
who is this voice actor? I like her.
and everywhere I looked, things were growing from the mud.
Hmm.
And some of those things had legs.
What is your home planet like? Look at this place. And breathe the air. Oh, this place is... I like it. I cannot breathe, mistress. Look at these statues. Like, are these aliens? As you are no doubt aware. These look like ancient goddess statues like the Venus of Willendorf, right? Well then, let's see where Renba's got to. So excited for this game. If we're really lucky, he'll have found an old pot. Potsherds. Oh. Let's ask a question. So where do we start? There is a series of rice terraces. If we climb up away from the water, that should take us to the village. I have another thought I want to share with you. Because, look, this is what happens. We play video games and it leads us in certain conversations. And what I think is really great about playing different video games is it leads us to different conversations. And I love that, right? And it is a tiny, tiny ship. Atomica says, I was reading a book about language and linguistics. The current estimate is that there are roughly 3,000 fully spoken languages left in the world, and that is expected to drop to barely 300 in the next 100 years. Oh my gosh. Globalization is causing a lot of obsolescence in languages, and not just rare ones. There are almost no native speakers of Irish or Hawaiian left. That's true. But then some things might get revived, I guess. I feel it's probably not safe to send a lone archaeologist to the world. Yeah. Rinba found old nukes on the Planet of the Apes. If he's really, he'll just find a refuse pit. Yes, if he's really lucky. I like the art, but the vanishing legs put me off a little. Yeah, the vanishing legs are interesting, right? You can check out the stash if you want. Oh, nice. I want to. So one of the things that I was reading this article in National Geographic about, there are these languages. Weren't both Hawaii and Ireland colonized by English speakers? They were. So there was an article I read in the National Geographic about those languages that were basically conquered. Yeah. Her name is Gem Carmela. She's mostly known for being in Gangs of London in 2020. Oh, that's interesting. So it was about languages where there are only one or two speakers left, native speakers left of those languages, where there's only like two people left in the world. And it was so interesting. Like one was this language. It was a language in China somewhere. And it was a special language. It was only spoken by women in a very specific region and part of China. And there were these two sisters who are like both 100 years old, and they were the only ones left who are native speakers of this one particular micro language. And like the whole article was about all these linguists who were trying to find these people and like trying to at least record the language as much as they could before those people died. And then the other one was there were these two people. This was somewhere in South America, probably Brazil, and they spoke this like tiny micro language. But here's the thing: these were two men who had gotten into a fight. They were also like super old, like in their 90s or 100 or something like this, right? And they'd gotten into a fight like 30, 40 years ago, and they refused to talk to each other. They refused to talk to each other in those like since then. And so these are the only two people left who speak this one language, and they wouldn't talk to each other. And so the linguists were like, again, trying to document as much as they could. Yeah. And so there's something really, I think, I'm going to say something and it's going to be complicated. Yeah. There are people who are not native English speakers of a particular language that's dying, and they're very upset about it. They're like, I can't believe people are not speaking this super, super ancient language. Everyone should speak it. We should make these people in that space speak that language. But many times the people in that space are like, we don't care about that language, right? They might when they're older, but they're like, we want to. And there was okay, so I'm going to tell you this is a different thing. I know that we're playing a game that's about language, right? And it's about South Africa under apartheid. That they made people learn Afrikaans, right? They could speak their native tribal languages, but they didn't let them learn English. And the last time I spoke to early June 1917. And there was a big push from black and colored people in South Africa to be able to speak English, and they really wanted to learn to speak English, but they're like, no, 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 no. You got it. No, Afrikaans and your native tribal languages, and there are a lot of English speakers right in South Africa, but but what was basically they didn't want people there to be able to have mobility, right? And at this moment, English is a lingua franca because of the British Empire. So if you have English, or like there are a couple languages, like there was a time when it was Russian, English, and Mandarin, and Persian Farsi, those big four, right? And if you had one of those four, that would give you the ability to go somewhere else, to move, to have mobility. It was right. And so there's a way in which if you speak a language that is only spoken by a very small number of people and you don't speak any of the larger international languages, that really limits your ability to move, right? And so this, I think there's this, and I am not saying it's great if languages die. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we can't want something for somebody else more than they want it. And also it's a push-pull, right, between uh, local and global, right? I don't have any answers, but I am saying that it's complicated, and you can't do it from outside. Only white people can learn the language of trade. Well, that's really what that was a time, Ujair. Um, the thing that surprised me a lot of the top 10 current languages make sense: English, Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, French, Arabic. It surprised me that Indonesian sneaks in and out of the 10th place, fighting Urdu. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Artie says, like with so many other things, it's actually about control. And I think for me, that's what it's about. It's about allowing people to have control of themselves, right? So if somebody wants to be able to speak international language, I think they should be able to learn that. If somebody does not want to learn a language that they no longer find relevant to themselves, then I don't, I mean, it's complicated. That's complicated. I will say this. I think, oh, hey, go to your own screen. Yes. And I will come and visit you. Um, I think what I want to say is I think it's always good to learn another language. I think that people should learn another language. I think everybody should learn another language. I kind of don't care which language it is, to be honest. But I think everyone should learn a second language, at least try when they're younger, because I think it's good to learn things, and I think it teaches you more about your language. I think it's like it's like, you know, doing some sports or learning all sorts of things. I think it's useful. It's a useful thing for your own self-development, right? Wasn't there also that whole issue about wanting to outlaw hijabs? Yes, yes, there was. I think culturally language is important, but economically and politically, I do think that there will eventually be a single world language in the next 1,000 years. Is it okay if I learn Klingon or Sindarin? I actually think so. Like, I know that people might say no, but actually, I think it is. I think the point of learning another language. I mean, there are many points, right? But somebody might say, well, I don't need anything other than English. And I was like, well, sure, but I think there's still a value in learning another language besides English, even if it's Klingon, because there's something about learning the structure of another language that helps you reflect better on your own structure. And I think it's good. Uh, I think it's good, right, for your mind. The bit about learning a language isn't necessarily the language; it's the learning and doing something hard. And also, like, I think there are like neural pathways that there is a single global language. English is the closest to D&D's common tongue that has ever existed. Well, I mean, imagine French was for a while, right? Right? Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine it was French and then it's no longer French and now it's English. Basically, English is common, right? D&D is common, absolutely. And I think there's something important. Same, yeah, was a second ever. And I will also say this though about language. Something that for me was one of the most important things about learning another language. Well, one was learning, being able to understand English subject. Like, I learned a lot more about English grammar by learning German and French and Spanish, right? French was common in a large part of Europe, but it was hardly global. That's fair. That's fair, Colin, because I don't think globalism was the same at the time, right? Mulesach says, a couple of decades ago, there was this discussion about the Bavarian dialect and that more and more young Bavarians don't speak anymore. So they tried to bring dialects back without success. Mulesach, One, some of my Bavarian friends told me, I'm not saying this is true, but I'm telling you what they told me. They said that Bavarian wasn't actually a dialect, it was its own language that it was closer to its own language than a dialect, uh, and that they were suppressed by the Prussians. This is like, I'm not saying it's true, but I'm telling you what they told me, and I thought that was sort of funny. Uh, and the other things about the dialect, this is about, I think, television. And I was reading about some linguistics are talking about in northern England, there were so many different northern English dialects, and that they're collapsing, and that you still have like Manchester versus Liverpool versus Newcastle, but rather than having like 50 different dialects, they're becoming sort of clumped into like three or four larger northern English dialects. Yeah. I'm a very group there. That is wrong on somebody else. I'm just telling you what they said. I'm not saying it's true, but it did make me laugh because I was like, you're telling something about yourself, right? When they said to me that Bavarian was its own language rather than a dialect, I was like, you're saying something, like you're telling me something. You're telling me something. I don't think it's about the Bavarian language is what you're telling me, but you're telling me something. The Prussians like kept it around for their donuts. I mean, new language generally come from a dialect being isolated long enough that drifts away from the mother father tongue. Yeah. In my D&D campaign, I actually made human a language separate from common, as I found a little too human-centric than I wanted for human language to be common. Yeah, I think it's just about your world building, right? Uh, yes. Oh, I like the kind of conversations we're having because we're playing this game. Where are we here? Well, this is a cool little place. Oh, um, there's a little house here. Ooh, the statue. A listing statue. I love these old moons with their ancient stories. Who is that, for instance? One of the older goddesses? She is guarding the fields. Evidently, more than 1,500 years have passed since she was carved. Oh, a goddess on mercy? We'll have to check that out. Reply. That's a long time. Relative what, exactly? Ugh, there used to be gods throughout the nebula, even on Iox, before the Empire was founded. I'm surprised Iox let this one stay. Huh. We're learning something about Iox. Iox was some kind of like theocracy, right? It was like a big old theocratic situation. Look, there's a little house here. I think we should go. How old is the Nightingale, mistress? I'm not sure. Almost 1,500 years, maybe? Wow. Oh, okay. Uh, if our spaceships are over 1,500 years old, I have questions. Are we making new spaceships, or I have questions. Something is scratched here. Um, the emblem of Iox. Suppose this is where the Merzin leave goods for the Ioxians to collect. Oh, that implies things about the relationship between the Merzians and the Ioxians. Do they not interact with each other much? Well, I've got questions. Iox doesn't seem very cool. Well, Shiniki won't be hiding in there. No, but I do have questions about it. That tithe barn was big. This moon produces a surplus, mistress. Or what good it does them. So it seems to me like we are in a colonized situation. Where does all the water here come from? There is a wellspring in the rock below us, mistress. The soil is permanently saturated by it, which is why we have rice. Ooh. Change of camera. Pigs. People. Let's say hi to a
The air
person.
smelled earthy and sweet.
Rice. Do they grow anything else here? It would not appear so. So, something I wanted to tell you was about rice paddies. I'm going to approach this villager. She dominates everything. Elbereth has a statue like that, sort of. It's just a pair of feet. Iox must approve. Although I understand they had destroyed similar statues on other moons. Hmm. What is a wellspring, anyway? A source, mistress. Nothing more. No, but what is a wellspring? How does it work? Obviously, it is a source, mistress. You are defining a term with a term. It has no mechanism, as I understand it. Hmm. Uh, there are parts of the United States where you have rice paddies. But what I wanted to say was, again, we're just talking about like these things about culture that you may not think about. When I first got to Korea, when I was, I flew into Korea, I was stationed there. When I first got there and I got off the plane and I got to the area where all the, look at this thing. Where is she from? That's what I think our archaeologists would care about. From the material, I would judge it was not quarried here. Oh, interesting. But most likely close by. Interesting. It's very big, you understand. Beautifully crafted. This is who our archaeologists. I think our archaeologist loves things like this. Um, but when I got into this area, like it had a different smell than I grew up with, right? So when I first got to Korea and I moved up right from the moon seems most poor to me. There are no proper buildings. Oh, these are proper buildings. There is mud everywhere. That's fine. Uh, you've grown soft on Iox. This is normal. Good even. Yes. These people have everything they need. I have never left Iox before, mistress. To me, this place seems barbaric. Robot, my friend, work on that. They have plenty to eat. That's a good start. I did not intend to give offense, mistress. I am sorry if I did, because we grew up as an orphan, so, forget it, Six. Just maybe keep your voice down a little. You'll probably upset people, right? I can't think why they keep giving me robots. Every time I break or lose one, they give me another. Uh, uh, they must take my safety very seriously, or they're spying on me. The university cares for your well-being, mistress. Hmm. I guess. Hold on, let me see what I want to see what you guys are saying in chat. Woo! Uh, let's see. Oh, you're gonna go to bed, CCC? Go to bed, and I will see you next Saturday, maybe for more Heaven's Vault. I feel like specifically in D&D that humans are we do everything at a C plus level that they wouldn't actually have a language that and just adopted common or whatever their local language is. uh, Veltorus, yeah, Schlapleckerstrax. Oh, yay. I love it. I love that. So it's not that common is humans' language. It's just they're so obsessed with adapting that they would have lost any language element in place of what was already present. I actually wonder if Arneson and Gygax were actually thinking of English when they created Common for D&D. Like, globalization wasn't as much a thing when D&D invented, but was starting. Yeah, 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 yeah. Brownstein. Artie says, to be fair, my world is pure homebrew, so I don't know about official world of D&D. There's also more than one official world of D&D, right? Are the ships like mechs in Battletech? There's no official world. Yeah, that's what Crumma just said. Krella just said it. There's two big settings and a bunch of little ones. Yeah. Let's see. Do they have Rice Krispies? I hope so. Was the color difference between us, Fanta, and Global Fanta a shock? Yes. Well, I mean, look, I will tell you, Volus, it wasn't Fanta so much that was the shock. It was barbecue potato chips. Because in the United States, barbecue potato chips are orange. They're like a vibrant, vibrant orange. They're very orange. And in Germany, because they have laws about putting artificial colors and things, like don't do that. They are more the color, they're more red, they're more the color paprika, right? So it's just a very, there's like when I saw those barbecue potato chips that looked red, I was like, oh, our potato chips are not a natural color. Like it had never occurred to me to think that until I went to Germany. Oh, let me finish my thought. Thank you for reminding me, Volus. My thought was one of the best things the two big things I learned from learning a different language, Spanish, German. One was to learn my own language better, the structure of it, how it works. But the second, and this I really, really value quite a lot, um, is learning words that don't exist in my language and vice versa. Because that moment, when I learn a word that doesn't exist in my language, it makes me think about it makes me think about a lot of things very differently. Hey, Vo, um, I used to drink a lot of, I used to drink a lot of Fanta. Grape Fanta was big. Uh, but being able, like, I have to say that that was really to get you can get so much in your own head. Do you know what I mean? And you can just normalize, like, language is like just like the air you breathe, like you don't even think about it at all. And so being able to, like, all of a sudden get words that don't exist in your language, or realize that words you know don't exist in another language, kind of like breaks through the matrix in certain ways. And these are maybe sometimes really small ways, but I think they're quite important that way. German is good at that, having extremely useful compound words that English lacks. Yeah, but also there are other things that German doesn't have. And because I was teaching English, right, in Germany for a while, for 3 years. And these things, like, so Schadenfreude is really a loan word we as English speakers should adopt. Although sometimes we use German words and we use them differently, but that's also fine. Two things. One, doch. So in German, we don't have this in English, and I wish we did. English is good for succinct words that German only has a compound word for. So German has this word doch, and it is the best word ever, and I love it. And I wish we had it in English. So doch is the word you use to negate a negative, right? So if I say to you, do you want to see Rocky 7? You could say no, and that means no, I don't want to watch Rocky 7, or I could say yes, and that means yes, I do want to watch Rocky 7. But if I say you don't want to watch Rocky 7, do you? And I say no, does that mean no, I don't want to watch Rocky 7, or no, I do want to watch Rocky 7? Or if I say yes, does that mean yes, I don't want to watch Rocky 7, or yes, I do want to watch Rocky 7? And you mean kindergarten isn't the same in German? I think kindergarten is more or less the same, but like Angst isn't. Angst in English means you're being whiny, whereas in German it means you're afraid. Right? And so doch is the word you use to negate a negative. So if I say, you don't want to watch Rocky 7, do you? And I say, doch, that means I do want to watch Rocky 7, right? So that is just very, very practical and useful. And I love that. I wish we had a doch. Yeah, kindergarten is more like preschool in German. Yes, that's true. I mean, I do understand why TTRPGs don't have elaborate language systems mostly. It's complicated, but yeah, for storytelling, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for example, there's no German equivalent of these fucking fuckers have fucking fucked it. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. There was also, yeah, so I love Doch and we don't have it, and I wish we did. That would be awesome if we did. That would be great. So let's go to these terraces, shall we? I like how we can just talk to our robot. Can you do a scan for Janiki or something? Mistress has taken me for a dog. I know, perhaps you believe if I had a scrap of clothing, then I could trace it. No, I just figured you have sensors? Can you do that? Trace a scent? No, mistress. Well, you don't have a nose, obviously. If I see him, I will let you know. Oh, okay. Fine. Let's go to the terraces, I guess. See if we can find something. Suppose, remark. There can't be that many more robots left. That's what I was getting that vibe, everybody. There were a few hundred in my cohort. And how many cohorts are there? See, I got this vibe that maybe a lot of the technology was made a long time in the past and we're not making them new. I will not speculate. I have some connection with my cohort, but nothing beyond that. Sort of a holographic robot. At any rate, we would all appreciate if you took more care of your robots. Fine. Yeah, I get this sense that maybe there was a time of technology and we are past that time. That, like, after the fall of the Empire, maybe? We're not getting a lot of new technology, perhaps? A warehouse. Oh, somebody's crying. So why can I hear crying? We should probably go inside there and find out. I will wait out here, mistress. Somebody's crying. Oh, you! Oh, do I know you? You are from Iox, aren't you? Oh. I was born on Elbereth. Because I feel like that's important to me. But you are from Iox? I want to figure out what word she's... Oh, we'll go with this. Yes, my name is Aaliyah. Then you are not her. Not Mayari. I don't know what voice I want to give her yet. Oh. That's who you're waiting for? What if I figure out what voice I want to give her? I heard your voice. You're Eoxian, but you said Aaliyah. My name is Aaliyah Mayari. Oh, I was adopted by her. Oh. Do you have a message for me? He told me you might come. Janiqui? My tall Eoxian. He left something for you. With the goddess, to keep it safe. So, Janiqui was here. Mystery. Do you know where he went? I'm looking for him. He promised he would come back. I'd so like to believe him. Hope you find him, Miss Mayari. So apparently, okay, Janiqui left something with the goddess, did he? Now, why would he do a thing like that? We have a mystery. Most curious, mistress. Is a woman like that why Renba came here? I have to read chat. She's hardly Mayari. Humans are most curious, mistress, but it would seem someone from Iox has visited here recently. Do you think there is more to be learned here, mistress? Yes. Perhaps we should return to the ship. No, we have to visit the goddess. Ah. The woman said Janiqui left something here. I'm going to read chat in a second. With the goddess. I want to find it. Yeah, I do. We need to talk to some more people. We do, actually. The village center will be at the highest point. The village center will be at the highest point, mistress. To guard against flooding. Would you recognize Renba if we saw him? Did you meet him? I believe he activated me, mistress, after I was uncovered. Uncovered? I suspect that is why Professor Mayari assigned me to you. I should know what he looks like, too, right? I mean, like... I know him. I've met him. I should know what he... Maybe I don't. Maybe I haven't met him. I like to think that I've met him, but maybe I haven't. Well, I feel like I've met him. Come on. I'm catching him on chat. How much higher? One more level, mistress. Obviously. Let's see. Not this way. Let's go this way, and let's not walk through their fields. Also, I bet we can't. Also... Hello. Nope, you're a ghost. Oh. Why do they build on stilts, do you think? Because of flooding. Surely it doesn't flood up here. Oh. The mud, perhaps, mistress. Or perhaps animals sleep underneath. Oh. Or army ants. Like maybe army ants show up and like you don't want to be, elevated. It's possible. Uh, I need to catch up on chat once we get to the higher level. 6, you were buried? Did they find you on Iox? Indeed, mistress. They chipped me out of a wall. We're learning so much about this culture. So we had a dark age, right? So we had a loss of technology. Good faith to you. My apologies, Eoxian. My pigs need me. Please, if you could just... Apparently nobody on this planet wants to talk to me. Did I do something wrong? You came here. Perhaps that is all. I feel like there might be more to it than that. The locals don't seem surprised to see me. Or to see you. I imagine robots collect supplies from here routinely. The locals, I note, also do not seem pleased to see you. Oh. Stranger. Greetings. I have to check chat. Greetings to you. Welcome to Mersey. You have come to trade? Actually, I'm looking for someone. Just check chat. Stop being so interesting, game. Ooh. Not Amirs and Shirley. We are alike as ants to you. Oh, that's not true. Yeah, I'm not like, come on. So you are looking for a Merzian. I know my friend Janiqui was here. That's not gonna help. I met one of your villagers. She knew him? She? What was her name, this villager? Well, she didn't actually... She didn't say. No matter, I can guess. If we had seen your friend... If he had met with an accident among us... What would Iox do? Oh, wow, yeah, okay, there's a bad relationship here. I just want to know where he is. We have not seen him. Now leave. I don't understand why you're lying to me. I do. They're afraid. The man sighed. They're afraid of... Apparently, Iox is not a great place and has a really bad relationship with people. Our friend was here. He left in a ship. Then something exploded in the sky. I do not know if that was your friend. But I do know we found this close beside our goddess. Oh, they took the thing. Oh, this is the thing. Oh, here. A shard of crystal. Does it mean anything to you, Six? It is most curious. This moon does not contain any crystals of this type. A new site indicated indications of the crystal moon somewhere in the cyclones. What have you been up to, Renba? I feel like we're almost at a spot where I can look at chat. He cannot hear you, mistress. Ah, but you are talking rhetorically. Obviously. Thank you for this. You are welcome. Tell your auction masters Maryzins are still gracious, despite all. Good faith to you, lady. I am feeling like there's some colonizer business going on here. Seems as if Renba left. And has left us. Shall we leave? I'm gonna look around some more. Also look at chat some more as well. Oh, remark. What does this mean? Seems Janiki knew he was in trouble. Perhaps he angered someone. All right, wait, pause. I can pause now. Uh, but I don't know if the ship, it seems his ship was destroyed, but I've watched soap operas, and I know if there's no body, you don't believe it. Ars Magica has a complex language system because it's the real world's language system. Huh. Zalvi says, there are whole concepts that are framed by language, and if you don't have a word for that concept, it's absent from your cultural language. Some things can't be translated. Yeah. I also think that sometimes you can still have a feeling for it, you just can't express it. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Which then means, right, the Japanese concept of on is one lacking from English. This is kind of reminding me of the creator, Vo says. Vola says, Polish are smart, packing a vivid image of disaster to a single word, kurwa, such a useful word for many situations. Actually, the dark age of technology led to the rise of the empire. The empire is in its decline, did sort of outlaw science and technology, though. Such as, but there are words which exist in English and German. They are written, they're written the same and pronounced the same, but they have totally different meanings. Gift, mist, hell, and tier. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Wait, this game is Warhammer 50k, right? Maybe, maybe. Pager strikes, let's go. Go, 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 go. Don't worry, you're not boring. Also, translations fall into the foil of purposeful mistranslations for power, sure. Or just misunderstandings. Or drift. Or so here's the thing I think is super interesting. German does not have the continuous form that English and Spanish do. The ing form, right? Walking, right? Because in English, there's a difference between I walk and I am walking. And the verb tenses they don't have that verb tense in German. I think you can say something like, ich lauf gerade. It's like, I walk at the moment. But they don't have that form, which when I was teaching English to Germans and we started getting to advanced English, there was this thing that I would want to try to describe because there are these different implications in English that are really hard to translate because that verb tense is not there. For example, in English, there's a difference between I was leaving. Hey, I'm walking here. Germans can't do that. So like in English, there's a difference in implication between I was leaving when you walked in and I left when you walked in, right? I left when you walked in implies a kind of causality, like you walked in and then I left. Whereas I was leaving when you walked in implies that there isn't a causality there. And that is happening because of verb tense, right? Because we have this continuous form, right? When you have the continuous form, you can say, oh, this continuous form happens, right? And this thing happens in the middle of that versus this thing happened and then this thing happened. And Spanish has that, like trabajaba, working, but German doesn't have that. I don't know if French does. Does French have a continuous form? I should ask Simon. Somebody should know. Yeah, and it became very difficult to get that through, right? The idea of the continuous, right? But that also says that there's another thing. So like in AAVE, we have like he be walking, right? AAVE, which apparently is from Irish because the Irish have that. French probably does have a continuous form, especially if Spanish does, and that's probably where English got it from. Tomic says, the one I heard earlier this week is legacy. In English, you talk about building or leaving our legacy, but a living person using it to talk about themselves is non-existent in the rest of the Western world that uses legacy to describe the end result of the remembrance of a dead person. Oh, interesting. Unstable Deus says, the Japanese concept of on, pronounced own, is best described as face, but it affects how you act and also the concept of sincerity. Yeah, oh, bee walking. Be walking, right? Which is African American vernacular English, but it probably comes from the Irish because they also do it. And it's called the habitual be, right? So if you say he be walking, that means he that doesn't mean he's walking right now. That means he's a person who walks regularly. Oh, he be walking. That means this is a person who habitually walks, right? I believe French has I am and I am to be. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, I love this, right? And it frames a lot how you interact with the world. And I Yeah, more water. Just sitting here. Yeah, I I like thinking about that. We must be at the top now. There should be a communal point somewhere here. Yes, there should be. Is it this place? No. We'll find it, and then we'll leave. Probably. Are all the moons in nebula like this, mistress? Um, some of the nebulas like this, but not most. It seems pitiful to me. Look, it's fine. Don't be classist, robot. You should see what poverty looks like. I'll take you to Elbereth soon enough. Yeah, that's what I was guessing. That she's from a... See, like, this is... I'm feeling like that she grew up super poor as an orphan, and she doesn't really appreciate being lumped in with the colonizers, but of course, she probably now speaks with a Ioxian accent because that's where she grew up. So I imagine that this is complicated for her. Mary's brooch. The stone inside it is the same as Renba's crystal? Undoubtedly. Obviously, they came from the same source. And can we find that source? With some analysis, mistress, I believe we can. Should we leave now, mistress? No, don't hassle me. I want to find the communal spot. Don't hassle me. I'm looking for this communal spot, which theoretically should be around here somewhere. Mistress, if I may ask, if you weren't rooting in the mud for lost roboticists, what would you be doing at this moment? Archaeology, obviously. I'd be sailing the uncharted reaches of the nebula looking for shipwrecks. Ooh, which means I'm specialized in that. There are places out there where no one's been for hundreds of years. There are echoes of ancient voices. But no. Instead, I'm standing in pig muck. Yeah. Okay, so I feel like we've been promised a communal building somewhere, but I don't... I must say, mistress, yes, despite your cool manner, I'm extremely excited to be working with you. You seem most passionate about your work. Oh, thank you. Spare me. No, no. I've had surly robots before, but not sycophantic ones. I don't know why Mary wanted me to take you with me. Don't be mean. Don't be mean to Six. The professor cares about your safety. Then she certainly doesn't care about yours, because I go through robots like I go through Kleenex. Oh, me. Maybe we can't find this place. Well, that's a bummer. I wanted a communal spot. Uh, there's not many people tending all of these crops. Plants are not like pigs. They do not require constant husbandry. I suppose we'll go towards the fields. Guess we can't find it. Uh, oh, a concept of Japanese versus English. There's some misunderstanding of intent. If someone was like, we should go to a movie, if someone English said that's awesome, that's basically an agreement to go, where in Japanese it's a neutral statement that doesn't actually mean yes, I'll go. This gives a lot of perception of other cultures. Oh, Unstable DS, I'm excited. Do you know what? But there's also things that where, oh, a gleam in the grass. What is that? Found something. Is that something in the mud? It is. A silver model of a tree. I guess it dates from the Holy Empire? It must have been dropped here years ago. It's only been revealed by the irrigation of the fields. There's an inscription on it. Oh! Is that a single word? Most likely not. Ancient scribes didn't always trouble to put in their spaces. Yeah. I don't think they expected their writing to be read. Okay. Okay. Look at us. Okay. I'm reading chat because we just got to a cool spot. That is something I noticed while I was in the US. They seem to use superlatives as a normal state of being. Germans in general don't use superlatives as often. That led to some awkward situations. Another thing that was really interesting is that, and this is about translations, right? So I don't know how, I cannot speak for other English speakers. I can only speak for Americans. When I was hanging out with Germans in the very beginning, there was that a disconnect because I would say something like, oh, it was really nice to meet you. We should hang out sometime. And they'd say yes, and I'd say cool. And then they would get mad at me if I didn't call them the next day to organize a meeting. When I said we should hang out sometime, I didn't mean tomorrow. I meant that would be really nice. Like I was showing that I would like to hang out at some point in time, but I was not putting pressure on them to do so. It's sort of like an invitation to hanging out, but they would also, but their sense of, they had a different understanding of that meaning. It is the small nuances that make languages so interesting. Let's eat grandma compared, let's eat grandma. Huh? Tomer says, oh man, one of my teachers showed us an old language that did that. An entire set of information was just written like this with no spaces whatsoever. Worry about word wrap at the end of tablets. It was super confusing. Early music notation was very similar, that there was just a lot of these notes put together and you had to kind of just understand where the phrasing was going. The other one too is around 5 o'clock. Let's meet around 5 o'clock. So for me, meeting around 5 o'clock means around 5 o'clock. It means, I don't know, around 5 o'clock. Anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes around 5 o'clock. Whereas the Germans were like, oh, that meant exactly at 5 o'clock. But if I meant at 5 o'clock, I would say at 5 o'clock. Just different cultural things. Okay, so what do we have here? We have this sort of like silver model. What do we have? Well, we have these two lines in the beginning. Maybe banish, we don't know. The banished also has that kind of squiggly line thing in there. This kind of looping thing. Oh, hey, hold on. That holy has a little bit of similarity in there. There's a little bit of similarity in holy, right? I can put that right there. Five-ish is when, well, it's not exact, right? It's not exact. It's this sequence reminds me somewhat of my translation for banished. That's true. And banished could also be buried, right? So maybe toward, await, listen, follow. Maybe await, stay here. Listen, here, stay, await. Maybe await. And the next symbol is removed by word for emperor, kind of. Await, holy. Let's see. This is a silver model. Let's see. Heart, light, friend, water. Let's see. Light, maybe, because of the ways in which the emperor is also sort of like divine. Maybe. Does await holy light make sense? I can see what Wong thinks when I get back to Iox. Oh, this is cool, everybody. We're guessing. I'd hazard this comes from the same site as the brooch. The one Mayari gave us on Iox. Having this should be useful in tracking down where these things originated. Oh, we have a new site indicated. What did you make of the model, Six? A most curious item, mistress. It does not appear locally made. Some of these things have colors on them. So where is it from? I bet those are really important. Iox? No, mistress. Different moons have different radiation signatures. I do not recognize this one at all, but we have collected enough information Has the model been here for some time? It seems quite apparent. It has, yes. So how did it come to be here? An interesting question. But almost certainly nothing to do with Shiniqui Renba, mistress. Huh. He came here for some reason. I'm with the Germans. There must be something more to this place than meets the eye. I agree. True. But one model does not seem reason enough. I'm with the Germans. American imprecise is annoying. Around 5 means 5. Be on time, you're precise. See, for me, around 5 doesn't mean 5. If I meant 5 exactly, I would say 5 exactly. Around is imprecise. If I said, let's meet at 5, then I would say, let's meet at 5. But like, for me, there's a difference between at 5 and around 5. And sometimes I say at 5, sometimes I say around 5. And I think having the ability to differentiate between those things is useful for me. 5-ish depends on who said it and when they said it, and also where they said it. That's also true. And if somebody says to me, let's meet at 5, I'm going to take that differently than if they said, let's meet around 5. Yes. So for me, like, those are just different phrases that imply different things. Another thing that's super interesting about German is because we used to have it in English, but we no longer have it, because German has the formal and the informal you. And we used to have you and thou. And I believe thou and thee were the informal, and you was the formal. Thy, thee, thy, thou, I believe, was the informal you. And you was the formal you. Zanzibar says, I get tired of people getting upset with me being late. I have ADHD. People really don't really get that. It's not that easy. Thank you, Kron. I get you, Zanzibar. I get you. Oh man. I work really hard to get to places on time. And I have to, like, give myself huge amounts of, like, space in between things. It's also historically contextually tied to the precision and synchronizing of clocks. Unstable use, that's true, right? Yes, unstable use, that's also true, because people didn't even have the... Does the German have the royal we as the UK does? Oh, that's a very good question. Oh, I don't know. Musich, do you know? Because that's really interesting. So in German, like, there's a difference between thou and you, right? And we have lost that difference in English, and it matters. Like, we would ask, like, now we know each other well enough that you can duts me, we can say do to each other, and that's the thing that we don't have as much in English. Another thing that German has, by the way, do you have the real we? So here's this thing that you have in German, which, by the way, love it, and I wish we had it in English. So, in German, you have the word Liebe, love. So you can say, ich liebe dich, I love you, as we say in English. But they also have, ich hab dich lieb, which in English would be translated, like, the direct translation is, I have love for you. Japanese also has formality differences in vocabulary. And Korean, like, there's also some, like, Korean has, like, languages by gender and age. Like, there are all these different kind of formalities. So if you say ich hab dich lieb, I would say, like, ich hab dich lieb means I love you, but, like, not in a romantic way, right? Like, so you can, it's the difference between, like, in English we'd say, do you like them or do you like them, right? So you can make a distinction between, like, this one kind of very deep love, like ich liebe dich, which has, like, also desire and all that into it, and, like, ich hab dich lieb, like, like, oh, ich hab dich lieb, I have love for my friends, right? And so there's a way in which you can make that distinction in German, which is sometimes a little bit more difficult to make in English. Yeah. Let's see. Question. I suppose there's nothing old here? No, but we found old things. No ruins, no ancient kings, no crumbled towers. Of course not, mistress. This is a farmyard. But there's an old statue. This is a waste of my time, that's what it is. It's not. I feel like we've already found cool things. Remba's probably back in Iox right now. I doubt it. Professor Mayare would have contacted me if that was the case, mistress. He is out here, somewhere, waiting. I think he faked his death. Side note, those are just my feelings and thoughts. We're... Ooh. Ugh. Stepped in something. Mud, mistress. Shh. I know what mud is, Six. Of course, mistress. Stepped in poo. Even more rice. Just lying around. Could scoop enough into my bag to feed an Elborethian family for a week. I won't even notice it was gone. I heard Elbereth was a moon of thieves, mistress. Hey! I'd assumed it was a slur rather than a strategy. I'm just saying that we're very poor. Why can't everywhere be like this? Enough food, enough space. Indeed, mistress. I'm just checking to see if we find anything else cool. Probably not. I don't want to step on their rice, though. That seems rude. Also, maybe they won't allow us to. I just don't want to, like, ruin their food. That's all. Have we been to all of these buildings? I'm just checking because we found... Oh, hey, villager. Hello. Good faith. Please keep it quick. I don't want to talk to you. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, she sees me as a colonizer. I know. That's frustrating. But, yeah. Yeah. That's, that is what it is. That is what it is. And also, I do have a level of privilege because I did get to study on IOX. I get it. I get it. I get it. I just don't feel like my character Aaliyah feels that way. But that's like the situation you get when you have a person who's working class ends up attaining some kind of class mobility, but culturally they still do you know what I'm saying to you? Someone's carved something here. Symbols in the ancient script. Ha ha ha. I might be able to translate them. This is my life. Okay. I love this. I'm reading. Goddess figure. It's also difficult to translate happy in German because we have several words for it depending on the situation. Right. This isn't a game of good society, despite the cultural similarities. I suppose you're right. You are a colonizer. You're doing archaeology in a place you aren't from. Oh, but archaeology is not the same thing as colonization, right? I think that's the thing, that colonization is not the same thing as travel or even study, right? Um, colonization is colonization also not the same thing as invasion, uh, and yeah, and I think it's yeah, I think that sometimes we end up using uh related words. Light, I think, maybe. Uh, light, maybe. What about this one? That's close to emperor. Maybe goddess, perhaps. And maybe this is like, if that's light, this could be like water, maybe? Like a holy water goddess, I think. I think that's the case, actually. I think we are right there. It's still changing my mind, but holy water goddess? I think so. There's certainly plenty of water here. And like water light, I think that's good. She's guarding their most precious resource, keeping it all fertile. I just identified the water goddess. I am feeling very good about my life. Large, generous, welcoming, a goddess of fertility as well, no doubt. Um, exit. Hey, we did exploration. I feel good about this. Definitely no robots here. No reason for Renba to come here at all, except he's clearly not doing robotics. He's clearly doing something else right now. Obviously. My goodness, there's a mystery afoot. Well, we'll have to go back to the ship. Oop. Of course, there are no robots. Robots are valuable. Hey, don't be rude to this farming place. Don't be rude to the farming place. Come on. Let's go back to our ship. Back to the ship 6. We've done all we can here for now. This way, mistress. Oh, okay. And so we left the warm, wet fields of Mersey. Woo! Timeline. I'm going to read chat. Archaeology is very much part of colonization. It's a thing the British invented to steal people's culture. Tell that to the British. Well, the thing is, a lot of archaeology was grave robbing, but it's not all grave robbing. I mean, it's one of those things where like there are a number of fields that start off in pretty terrible places, but things can change and become different things. You know what I mean? I think things can become different things. Archaeology is its own field. I mean, look, it did start off as why are the pyramids in Giza? Tell me, Dime. Like again, like I think that like anthropology did not start off on a good space. Many of these fields did not start off. Many of the academic fields did not necessarily start off in good spaces or have bad histories. But I think that they can become different things. You can change them. You can reform them. They were too heavy to carry to London. Oh, Atomica, that's a good one. British Museum. And I think, also, plunder is different from colonization. You can plunder as part of colonization or just part of plunder, right? Like, because, like, look, Vikings would plunder places, but they were not colonizing those places, right? So I think that there are differences. There are differences because colonization is tied to a particular kind of economic system. So, right? And also other things. Sometimes really gross things, sometimes even worse things. But like, things are different. And that doesn't make them better or worse. But like sort of wanting to sort of like separate to sort of look at some of the different issues. I mean, like, look, musicology started as part of Germany's nationalist project, right? To sort of create, because Germany didn't exist yet, right? But it was part of a political cultural project to create the idea of a German nation, which didn't exist, right? Musicology, also because Germany didn't have a lot of colonies, and so since they couldn't just colonize a lot of spaces, they decided that their way to sort of create nationhood was through narratives of artistic genius, right? If you look at musicology, and people who are not German now, because we've all accepted this, and you say like who is like the best composer of all time, they're going to say Beethoven. If you look at the greatest composers of all time, they're all coincidentally German, because the very first musicologists were also coincidentally Germanic, and they were creating, like, this was created around the time that Germany was being created as a nation, right? And if you want to create a nation and a national identity, you have to create basically fictions, right? You have to create myth. And the myth that you do when you create a nation is to somehow create this idea that all these people have a shared culture, and that culture is great, and this culture is this and that. And you had to somehow unify all the different places that were different countries, right? The Germanic principalities and kingdoms, and convince them somehow that they're all the same, but not Austria, because the Prussians didn't want to compete with Austria for power. They did the same thing with Italy. They did something with a lot of places, right? That you say that all these things that were different were all somehow the same. And so musicology has at its base, at its root, a kind of a gross thing that then was used to basically, it's part of like German supremacy. But musicology doesn't have to be that way. We can make it something different. We can do something different with it. But you have to know what the root and the history of that field is, or else you'll be, if you don't know the history of the field, you will reproduce it, right? If you don't know the covert values, the covert and casual values. There was an article called Covert and Casual Values in musicology. It was very good. Beth Levy, I think. But if you do not know the covert and casual values of your field, you are doomed to keep reproducing them, and that's no good if you want to change them and do something different. So you have to interrogate the thing itself if you want to make it something different. Otherwise, it will just keep being the same thing, and that thing could be based in colonization and gross, right? In a way, the Brothers Grimm tried that. They absolutely did, right? It's this, yeah, they absolutely did. And we do this all the time. So we found, carved at the base, right? Found a silver model. Let's view this. Mm-hmm. We have this unknown site. A chunk of crystal we found on Mersey came from a distant backwater of the nebula, but leaving the nebula's waters risky, but I don't know enough to find the site yet. I thought we did find the site. Didn't we find the site? I feel like we did. Crystal moon, the existence of a new location somewhere in the cyclones. I don't know enough to find it yet. The crystal moon. Okay. Look, we found a lot of things. I'm feeling... Do we have a save point? Do we save? Austria refused to be part of the German nation, so to speak. Nation union. I heard there was some... I heard Prussia didn't want them either, right? Because Prussia wanted to be in charge. Aboard the Nightingale, Renba left a crystal for Mari to find. But what was he trying to tell her? We could otherwise sail to Iox and tell Mari what we've learned so far about Renba. Do we actually tell her? I'm quite certain in my analysis, Mistress. The crystal we found, Mistress, and the element inside the brooch. They originate from a moon somewhere on the edge of the cyclones. Well, then let's go. I think we should go there first, before I change my mind. Before we go back to Mayari. Put out the sails, Six. You appear very enthusiastic, Mistress. Considering we will be sailing through a hurricane. This ship can take it. She's made of tough stuff. Oh, I love my ship. She is made of wood, Mistress. We have a spaceship that's made of wood. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Woo! Six had us following a lead to a moon somewhere near Mayari, but I had reason to believe that Renba had found even more, further out in the darkness. I don't know enough to find this site yet, but we do know enough to get to this crystal moon. Hey, do we have, like, a save? Does this... I know there are auto-saves, but does this, like... Well, all right, we're going to find it. Austria often occupied parts of Bavaria. That's why we didn't get along very well in the past. That's probably also why the Austrians are the dumb ones in the Bavarian jokes. Probably, right? I know that Bavaria was not super excited being part of this German nation, but they were invaded, so, yeah. Yeah. Krellin, about the British stealing everything. Guess what? Guess what? Do you know what I think is... guess what? I think this is super interesting. No, they're dumb. For real. Oh, the Österreichers, be nice to them. Well, So, chicken butt? But, Krellin, guess why? The Verdant Pass, sailing to the Crystal Moon. All right, I think we're going to have to do our sailing. Chicken thigh. Oh, I love that. I just love the phrase chicken thigh. Okay. Chew. Woo. Are there other ships? Oh, this way? Maybe? Perhaps? Not seen any. So, there is a thing that... Ooh. The path turns right momentarily, Mr. So should we... Okay. Woo! Woohoo! There was something I wanted to tell you. Okay, right. So, this is, the Silk Pass. Ooh. Okay. We're going to navigate to the Crystal Moon. So this is a thing. They didn't actually... So, there was a documentary series that I watched. Oh, okay. Whoa! Whoa! Woo! There are other ships out here. Okay. I don't want to hit any rocks. I feel like that would probably be bad, right? I assume that would be a bad thing if we... no, 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 no. Missed turn. Reset. Sorry, I missed the turn. Oh, okay. So what I wanted to tell you was there was this really interesting documentary I saw on the history of pornography. No one ever passes you by. It was like a 4-part or maybe 6. It was a multi-part documentary series on the history of pornography. Sounds lonely. Where are we going? This way? Or this way, maybe. And I didn't get to see all the parts. I missed the early parts. No, I missed the last. I think I missed the last part. I should go left. Thank you. I think I missed the last part. But the first part was about the invention of pornography. Well, okay, so each part was about technology. So each one revolved around a different technology. And the first one was basically about statues. And then the second one was about paintings, I think. And then I think we got the printing press. And then I think the last one was like film and video, that kind of thing. But so the first one, I thought this was very interesting, about the invention of pornography.
No one knows how far the rivers go. No one's ever mapped them. Not even the robots.
Ooh.
Or if they did, they aren't telling.
All right. So the argument, this is from an academic book, right? The argument was that basically pornography was invented with the archaeological uncovering of Herculaneum and Pompeii. No. How the concept of pornography was invented. 6. What happened to the river? Ooh. I do not know, mistress. Oh. Okay. So we are hardly sailing, but we are moving. View possible search locations. Okay. All right. Is this what we're looking for? Okay, so my findings indicate the crystal moon is somewhere here. All right. So when there's a rock up ahead, what have we found? I want to make sure that I want to know if we can save. Above the crystal moon, why would anyone come to a lonely spot like this? Continue. I'm going to tell you about the pornography and about Herculaneum and Pompeii, Vesuvius. We have arrived, mistress. The moon below us is rich in purple iolet crystals, but there is no surface flow. We cannot land the ship. Oh, no. But Rinba must have gone down somehow. Indeed. No, I will tell you. He most likely used a hopper. We might do the same. We should do the same. Hopper? So, the Nightingale is fitted with a hopper, of course. For instantaneous travel. Oh, how does it work? I should know how it works. I should know this. There is a source. The source fires at a subject and casts it into the hopper's eye. The eye refracts the signal. It is focused and reconstituted. Is it safe? Not really, mistress. No. This moon does not have any air. I will have to go down alone. Really? No air? So what was Rimba doing here? I hope I will discover that. Please, wait here. Just don't take too long. Also, I just kind of want to know about your editing. Okay, so I just want to get us out of a
moment later, the robot was gone.
Conversational cutscene.
I was alone in the dark.
Very dramatic. Okay. Uh, let me go here. Okay, so what happened was when they excavated Herculaneum and Vesuvius, so the British Empire was all into like had this like complicated relationship with the Roman Empire because they wanted to be like the Roman, they're all this thing going on, right? So then when they uncovered did all the excavations, what they found was a bunch of penises and statues of people having sex, and there's a lot of nakedness and sex things and all that. And the thing is that the Romans did not think of these things as pornographic. They were just that was just normal, right? But the British lost their minds. They kind of freaked out. They were like, "Oh my god, ah!" And so what they did was they created a secret museum. They took all of the things that were sort of sexual in nature and they put them in this secret locked museum that was there in the area. And nobody was allowed to see any of these things unless you were an upper class man. Because remember, this was before the more current modern concept of gender. There were different ideas of masculinity and femininity in play at the time. And in this earlier mode of thinking about masculinity and femininity, in this idea, men were not sexual, but women were. Women were hypersexual and men were rational, right? It's the whole kind of like Adam and Eve, whatever. And so they believed that women would not be able to handle seeing such things, not because they were prudish, but because they're too hypersexual. It was like bad. They also did not think working class people should be able to see these things because they believed that the reason they got this idea that the reason why the Roman Empire fell is because it was too sexual. And that working class people cannot handle sexual things, and that the whole thing, basically, the British Empire would fall if women and poor people saw sexual things. So that the thesis there is that basically it was in this moment that they created this secret museum, that they created the idea of pornography, that they took these things that were sort of just not thought of as pornographic before and made them pornographic. And this first part of the documentary series was basically all about statuary. And it was all about statues, where it was about like all the penises, all the statues of penises that were around, like in, the Mediterranean. There's like a famous, there's like in the UK, it's not a statue, but it's like how like they have some of these in the Southwest, I think, where if you fly over, you'll see these like images of like pictographs and whatnot that are made using like sperms, the land and like people with penises and boobs and whatnot. And the British the British people in power just kind of lost their mind about it. They freaked out. They're like, no, and they're like, none of that, right? So that was the Brits hid the report about the gay penguins too. Yeah, right. And so it was about this, and then the next thing was about, I think the next one was the printing press, and this was the second part. It was so interesting. And it talked about how uh, there had long been sort of basically pornographic things in manuscripts. The emoti was one of them, which were these like various sort of ways of having sex or whatever. But manuscripts were not available to the masses because there was no printing press yet, right? Or you'd have these kind of like naked and maybe pornographic things in like paintings in rich people's villas and all of that. But people started freaking out with the rise of the printing press because then people started printing these pornographic things and the masses got access to them, and that made people start freaking out. But here's what's really interesting about this, that one of these first big like concerns about pornography, really, like, first you had the British freaking out in the secret museum, which by the way you can now see, but it was closed for like until very recently. It was open like a brief time in the 70s and they shut it back down again. You can now go and see it, but it was locked for a long time, like but so apparently some of the earliest pornography in print that was put in printing press pamphlets, right, was in the 18th century in France, and it was all it was pornographic, but that's not really what it was. And that's not really why people were upset with it. It was actually anti-royalist. It was a lot of stuff about Marie Antoinette and the king, and it was meant to actually uh it was a way to distribute anti-royalist sentiment. It was a way to, yeah, it was a way to like it was doing political work, right? And so that was one of the reasons why it was being cracked down on so seriously. And that was super interesting. I didn't get to see like the last part, which brought it into the 20th century and what was happening like with the history of that. And I wish I had, because I'm sure that would have been also very interesting. Anyway, uh, so thinking about the British Museum stealing things, right? There was a whole bunch of stuff they just hid because it freaked them out. I just thought that was super interesting. Hmm. What were you up to, Renba? Speaking of Volus and the British, what makes a roboticist leave Iox when Iox is the only moon in the nebula with robots? If I flew away now, I could be rid of that thing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Mistress. Rhodesia. Rhodesia. I found something, mistress. Oh, a tool chest? An engineer's chest. Oh. Is this Janiquius? The probability is high. I believe the moon below was once a quarry. But this box is no artifact. I hope there isn't a snake in here. Zimbabwe. A roll of cloth? Thick fabric. Janiqui, what is this? I just opened Reniqui's hidden box. Green's like, I hope there isn't. Some kind of robe? It's hundreds of years old. And there's something stitched along the belt. Tiny characters picked out in a darker thread. Oh. Grinny wants me to get bit by a snake. Hey, Grinny, how are you? Purple robe. This is a long one. Let me think. Okay, so, Zimbabwe, right, has these amazing archaeological site called Greater Zimbabwe, which I've never been to, but I'd like to visit. It's this really cool. No, Grinny wants me to have a snake. Oh, that's very nice of you, Grinny. And it's this really kind of cool archaeological site that has these really neat acoustical properties where, like, if you like stand in this one cave or this one part of a hill and you speak, your voice will be transported to this other part of the complex and really loud, like really cool. And when it was colony, Rhodesia, also hi Tripper, I'm doing all right, I guess. Kind of bummed out. I can go to the zoo with my family because I'm broke, but whatever. Oh, that's a bummer. How expensive is the zoo? So the colonial government of Rhodesia was like, we want to know who built Greater Zimbabwe, because clearly it could not be black people who live here, because this is too wondrous. Maybe it was created by, like, I don't know, European travelers, who knows? And so they hired these archaeologists to go and study the site of Greater Zimbabwe. And there was this woman, she was this British woman, and she went down there to study the site, and she was like, oh, the people from here did it. Grinny, the zoo is more than $0, which is what broke Grinny has. That's fair. So this woman was like, oh, the people from here built this place, obviously. And you can tell because if you look at the artifacts, right, they had like baskets and things like this, like the weaving patterns are the same. Also, there's similarity between their current homes and this thing. It's like very different because it's all stone and they're not doing stone, but like the way they do roofs, like she's like, yeah, obviously this place is made by the people from here. They made this people here, they made this place. And the Rhodesians were like, the colonial government was like, so they fired her and they destroyed all the things that she used as evidence to show that it was made by the people there. And then they made it official government policy that you could never say that the people from Zimbabwe built Greater Zimbabwe. You had to say that it was unknown who made it. It was always a mystery. So, to say yes and to yes and you, Krellin, right? There's like another way of like using, well, I suppose this was actually abusing, like actually denying archaeology in some ways. Anyway, the point here is that there was this archaeological woman who was like, yeah, it was this. And they're like, no, nope, no. So they lied, is what happened. she being a woman wasn't good enough reason to fire her. Oh, they did that too, right? But they were like, nope, we're none of that. So I don't know what this means. These are related words apparently, but doesn't feel like it to me. All right, what do we have here? We have that one symbol that is related to goddess and holy and emperor. And the word banish has got some relations to it. Actually, quite a bit. So maybe pilgrims, actually. Right? So let's go with pilgrims. That feels right to me. Pilgrims. This does not look a lot like, but it could be like, this is a robe. Oh, Grinny, the command you want is, what is this? That's the command you want. What is this? So let's see. This here, we do have pilgrims, maybe follow, ahead together weaker. All, maybe, that could be that could be gather pilgrims, banished, await, follow. I feel like we're kind of maybe getting some kind of trouble, so maybe follow. And then maybe this could be all, perhaps? We're guessing. We'll see if we can maybe, like... We're working out our words, slowly by slowly. All pilgrims follow, maybe? Maybe? But the question is, why did Renba hide this? All pilgrims follow beer. By the way, next week I get the rulebook of the new Coriolis RPG, Coriolis the Great Dark, but I feel like, ooh, this is a curved chunk of hardboard from a boat's rudder. Look at the thickness of it. Ship came from must have been enormous. On it are some inscribed glyphs, mistress. We have to go pretty soon, actually. But we've got one more set of glyphs. This one is a broken fragment from an even longer phrase. I'm in favor. So, I really loved living in Bavaria. I don't know if I would have liked living in, like, other parts of Germany, but I really love living in Bavaria. The food was really good, so we have, like, we have this stand. We have, this is close to it, right? It's close, but there, light. Stand light. Ooh, I just feeling like, I feel like light is correct. By the way, I think it's a little annoying that the achievements kind of obscure some of the language. Coriolis is a space game with Middle East theology, right? Yeah, I really want to. Coriolis looks really, really cool. So light, something light, something light. I don't think that's holy, because holy doesn't really have... What about stars? Stars? But maybe this is follow? Follow. Stars light? Maybe? Follow stars light? I'm certain this is from a totally different place than that robe. In fact, I don't think we've seen anything like this rudder chunk before. So this originates from somewhere I haven't previously discovered. But that's not all. There's also a battered copper chest. How did Remba get his hands on all of this? By the way, once we finish this, then we're probably gonna have to go. The side has been carved with symbols, mistress. I am so excited about this game. I kind of can't handle it. Not Space Run, but Space Arabian Night Space League. Yeah, I need to play that. Okay, we have this battered. What do we have? We have maybe light. Yeah, I have a copy, but I think I got it in a bundle somewhere. That leaves one word to guess. So let's see. Related words. Okay, so we have related words that we are guessing. This is from a copper chest. It has light in it, and we could have empires, travel, look, hold. Banished has got... So I've got these two words. Maybe... Okay, if I'm correct with the banished and the follow, which I'm not certain that I am, but I might be. If that is the case, then I'm thinking maybe travel or go, because I'm thinking that this might be about motion, but I'm not. But see, hold also seems like it could work. If it was buried, go light, hold light. What if it's that? That's a possibility, but it means that I might be wrong. Does hold light work? I suppose this stored ritual pieces once? I have a question before we go. In the case of our second... Ooh. Long lost now. A shame. It's empty. This comes from the same site as the rudder chunk, I think. Having another artifact should help us to locate the source. So, are these leads or are these things what Remba was after? Wait, mistress. I will consider the matter. Can you work out where the robe originated? I fear so. It is not a good location, mistress. But Professor Mayari was keen that we found Master Renba. And I am sure Master Renba is equally keen to be found. Show me where he went, Six. And we should probably go back to Iox, but we're not going to. I am not exactly certain, mistress, but I believe Renba traveled far from home, into the eye of the cyclones. Well, we're going to end, but before we do, I have a question. We've got our cool timeline, which we'll look at later. The Eye of the Cyclone's cool robe. Model brooch finds. What I'm looking for is... what I'm looking for... Oh, hello, timeline. Well, that's cool. I'm actually looking for something else. Inscriptions. Because I think that maybe we could go into our inscriptions and see if we can... So solvable inscriptions, unsolved inscriptions, because I think this is important, right? So solvable inscriptions. Let's see what we have here. Oh. Well, we're not going to tell her that yet. Yeah, we're not going to tell her. We're not going to... No, we're not going to IOX. I want to go to inscriptions. So all inscriptions, solvable inscriptions. Translate. So, Trooper, did you find much time to read my report? No, not yet. I've got a game coming up in 2 weeks that I have to GM, Holy Emperor, and it's solved. Okay, let's look at the unsolved and see if we can do a better translation. Maybe battered chest. I think maybe let's go with travel, because I do think that we are... I think if you think about banish and follow, that there's like a travel theme there. Yeah. So let's... View the phrase. Holy water goddess. I think that's true, right? I think death, snake, heart, death, snake. Nomad, stone, pilgrims. Huh. Huh. That means we haven't solved this. I think that's what this means, right? And if we haven't solved it, okay, so I've got some questions here. I still think this is for the copper chest, right? Hmm. Travel light hold. I don't think that's empire. We're gonna go. Look, watch, maybe. Hmm. Yeah, it's unconfirmed. I still but I don't think it's hmm. I'm gonna go back to travel or go as a possibility. And oop, sorry. We are we're gonna stop, but I want to go to the next one. Travel light, related words. I don't want to do that. I want to get to the next one. Holy water goddess. I really think that's goddess. I really do. And I feel like that's a pretty good guess. So I think I want to stay there. Yeah, I kind of like where we're at. I suppose we just have to get more time, right? To the thing is, if that were buried, uh, then if that, so this here, right? If this, oh, okay, this is how we do it. So this could be buried, actually. And if this were buried, right? Let's say that's buried rather than banished. And if this is buried, Empress buried. This is from a brooch. Hmm. Well, powers may not be right because that weird little curly Q thing. Yeah, robots. Maybe we're yeah, because I think it might be something like because you know that little curly one that looks like a little upside down Y. That seems to be maybe about people or beings of some sort. So it could be uh right that could be maybe the Empress buried robots and I do think this seems like I that seems good to me. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're gonna go with robots there. Like that might be a thing because again, okay, I think I'm feeling kind of good about this. I suppose right now we're kind of messing with these and the battered copper chest travel light. So if this were buried, I think this is hold. We're gonna put hold there because I think that works with uh which means we need to look at follow. Like Dune. Okay, so follow stars light. Uh hold buried pilgrims. Maybe into. We'll let that be for a minute. I think we're not 100% there yet. I think we still have to work on our archaeology a bit, but I think we exit it and I think what's going to happen is we're going to sort of slowly find more pieces until we can, you know, learn more. That's very cool. I like this. Something just happened. I don't know what's happening. Ooh. Okay. We're going to quit. I have to figure out how to do this properly. That's not quitting. Does this quit? How do we, oh, wait. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to take a screenshot. That's not what I want. Yeah, that's great, but I don't want to take a screenshot. I want to exit. Okay. How do we exit this game? Um, uh, I don't know how we exit this game. Uh, uh, cool. Uh, how do we get out of the game? Is there like a, I suppose we can't get out of the game in this menu. So I think what we're going to have to do is sail, and then I think we're going to just sail here, and then we're going to get out of it. That this is, I gotta go, everybody. But you know what, though? We're right about 3 hours. So once I just need to find a way to get out of the game. Somebody will know, and then we'll leave. We're going to sail to the Cyclones, and I hope we will not, but can you just, like, leave? Do you just have to, like, I have been analyzing the robe we found in Renba's tool chest, mistress. Okay. Woo. The fabric appears to be of a significant age. Oh, hey. Uh, woo. Woo. Hold on, Six. I cannot hold on, mistress. We're in one piece? Shh. We appear to be. Okay, oh gosh. Oh. Okay. Another rapid. This is very intense. This whole area is wild. We better check the hole when next we land. The hold. Woo. Let's, I would like to sweep sail, but I don't want to die. So... It does autosave. Wait, I missed turning? How did I miss turning? I thought I didn't. That's fine. This way. All right, fine. Fine, this way. It's okay, it's okay. We will get there. Oh, I didn't know that anyone else did. Not really. Did what? I missed that thought. But here he was, exploring the wilds. Ooh, nice. Okay, we want to go to the right. There we go. Woo! It is most curious, mistress. What is... One wonders what he was looking for. Yeah, I'm also wondering what he was looking for. Also, I just want to get to a space where we can get a menu so that maybe we can... Oh, hello. We're not through it yet. Oh, gosh. Oh! Oh! Hey, everybody. This is a little intense. Whoa. Oh! Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh, golly. Okay. Whew. Oh. Let's hope that was the way we wanted to go. We seem to have merged close to the eye of the cyclones, mistress. Right. I just want to get to a spot where we can, the water droplets go left. Okay. I would like to go left. Cannot see which way to turn at this branch, mistress. Let's go this way. And also, we're gonna leave. We're gonna stop the stream. We'll have to choose one and explore. I am okay with that. But we are going to quit now, right? I think we're actually... Yeah, that sounds good. Right? Just feel like we're, going here. I see it. Something up ahead. A moon? There is air, but no upriver, mistress. We'll need to leave the ship here and hop her down. Please do not be alarmed. It is quite safe. Okay, this is where we're going to be able to end the stream. I'm going to guess. Probably. The eye of the cyclones. Will Renby be waiting for us here in the center of the storm? Oh, I don't know. Okay.
The hopper fired, and for a moment I was gone. Not aboard the Nightingale, not on the moon beneath. It could have been a heartbeat or an hour.
Okay. Here we are.
but I
We're
didn't
going
feel the cold until I reappeared.
we're going to stop now. A pile of rocks, mistress, smashed together by the waters. It seems Janiqui had a taste for places like this. Right, and now... Okay. Wait. Do we just... Last save just now. I guess we just go. We just leave. That's it. I guess that's it. It's a little weird for me not having like a boom save, but I guess we don't. Okay. I guess. I feel a little weird about it, but okay. Everybody, I want to say thank you so much for playing with me and hanging out with me as for our first session of Heaven's Vault. So, that was amazing. I love that. And I am hoping that next time we play, what is happening right now? Uh, Something's happening, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know if I like it. You can't see it, but I don't know what's happening. Uh, I did not do that, everybody. I didn't do that. Um, no, stop. For some reason, Spirit Island just started happening against my will. Uh, Steam opened up and did Spirit Island, and I did not ask it to. I do not know why it did it. Steam wasn't even supposed to be open at all, so that was weird. Why is why did Steam open up? That is very, very strange. Okay, so as I was saying, thank you so much for being here with me. That is lovely. Um, Thank you, Dow. Thank you, everybody, for being. So here's the thing. I just want to say this. So next time we play, next Saturday, when we play this, we'll get some more artifacts. And I think you, all of us together, have got to sit here and like ponder some of our translations and see what we can come up with. We might have to go back to IOX to talk to our friend, but I don't want to run into Mayari and tell her about her friend maybe being dead until we can get some better information. So we're gonna all of us together. We'll do some kibitzing. We'll do some speculation. I'll talk about why I think I'm guessing some of the things that I'm guessing, and you can tell me what you think, and we'll work through this together because this is going to be a bit of a puzzle, and I like it. So this is exciting. They say this game is like 30 hours. I don't know how true that is. And hold on, how long to beat? I did look. How long to beat.com. Heaven's Vault. Heaven's Vault. Heaven's Vault. Heaven's Vault. I So okay, so they say that the main story is 15 and a half hours and completionist is 37 and a half hours. So anywhere between 15 and 37 for real people. For me, who knows? We shall see. But it would be really great if I finish this before we leave Seattle. And you all will help me, and I want to thank you for that. So here's the more important thing. Where can you find me next? Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern over at Praxagorathesmophoria. You can join us for session 3 of Truly Madly Falkenstein, where I'm playing Action Alchemist. And then on Tuesday, I've got 2 RPGs in a row. Noon Eastern on Table Story, I'll be in a one-shot called Draconin, which is a brand new game about dragon riders, where I'll be playing a fawn person who is a noble eco-terrorist. And, well, likes to liberate lab animals, you know, that sort of a thing. And then that's at noon, and then at... So sorry. Yeah, noon Eastern? No. 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern. Noon Eastern? Uh, yes, actually, I am. I'm playing Poison Ivy basically. Um, I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern. I think it's noon my time is what I think. It's hold on. Twitch. It's in my schedule. It should be obvious, but I am gonna double check because I'm always translating now between time zones. Let me just double check. I will know. Uh, schedule next week. Yes. Thank you. I was right. So 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday, I'll be on Table Story. It's noon PST. So 3 p.m. Eastern, I'll be at Table Story playing uh, Draconim, this Dragon Rider game. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be over on Other Dock for Lords of Gossamer and Shadow. This which is a new system, but it is based off of the mechanics from Amber Diceless. And I have to tell you, we've only done one session so far, but I love that crew. The vibe is really cool. It makes me feel of like Warehouse 23 or the Librarians or Leverage. It's just like a really good vibe. I really enjoyed that first session. It was really nice. And then you'll find me back here on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the last session of Disco Elysium, I'm pretty sure. I was told we have 15 minutes left in the game, which means we should finish it in 3 hours. Um, yes. And then Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern here on this channel will be the last session of Through the Valley of the Dead, Simon Wandering DM's Martian Cowboy game. And then back here on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern for part 2 of Heaven's Vault, when we decrypt languages and try to solve a mystery. That is new, being 2014. Yeah. I'm sure Pretty Ivy goes from villain to full anti-hero these days. I think so too, right? And maybe not even all that anti. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, so that's us. So I want to thank you. I would raid, but I have to go. People are here in Seattle. I've got to go and visit them. So I'm heading out. So I'm not going to raid, but we'll raid next time around. And not that you care, but I'll tell you anyway. So there's this bluegrass jam that happens Wednesday nights, and I really want to go, and I'm so excited. And I was thinking, oh, I can go next Wednesday, but I don't think I might. I probably will not be able to, because starting on Thursday, I every summer for the last 3 years, 3 4 years, 3 years, I have been volunteering to teach disadvantaged kids in Toronto music history as part of a music camp. And that music camp is starting next Thursday, Friday, and then the week after. So I'm probably going to be doing like a bunch of work during the day. And Thursday is the first session, and I feel like I might be needing to prep my lecture. And I was really hoping that I could reuse the first lecture I used in 3 years ago, but I don't think I can, because I was like, as long as we don't have anybody, like, because they're new students every year, and as long as they're new students, then I could reuse one of the old lectures. But there is one student who's been there every single year, so I've had to make a brand new lecture every single year so far, because we've got this one student who keeps on. I thought that the student would like age out, but she's still there, which means I don't think I can reuse my lecture from 3 years ago, which means I've got to create a brand new lecture for this class of high school students. And I always try to do something on Canadian music history because I think that's important. So I'm going to have to think for the next couple of days about what I want to do. Because I've done music in Africville, I've done music and language, I've done the Canadian content laws. I sort of have an idea about process versus product. So I have to look into that. Um, we shall see. So if that's the case, I probably will not have the time to go and work up a song for this bluegrass jam this coming Wednesday, but I'm hoping the Wednesday after at least. I've got to get some extra time. But all that said, I'm excited. Thank you for being here with me, and thank you for being with me in this new game, and I'm excited to find out how it goes. We shall find out. Thank you. You're awesome. Find me, at Trooper SJP here on YouTube. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, and if you would, that would be very lovely, because I'm 200 and some subscribers away from being a partner. So that would be cool. And you can find me at Trooper SJP also on Blue Sky. You can see me there. And I'm at Academic Foxhole on Patreon, and also Fourth Wall, which is where we have our merch store. So if you want to buy cool merch, do so, including our very cool Gambler's Travel Planner, which goes from April 2025 to April 2026. And it also covers, it's both in-game and out of game. because the calendar year is the same. And yeah, that's all the goodness. So thank you. I'm gonna go get ready to leave, and it was awesome. We will talk more, my friends, and take care of yourselves and be good to yourselves. Drink water, hydrate, take a nap if you need to, make sure you eat some food, do something to make yourself happy. Have a lovely. Was travel spelled that way? It was. Jer, it was spelled with two L's on purpose because I didn't want to. Um, I didn't want to. I wanted to indicate that it was related to traveler, two L's, but I didn't want to mess with anybody's copyright. So there's nothing in here that is Traveler, the RPG branded, but I used two L's to give you the indication that that's what it was. Ha ha. Right? So it was like my way of being like, hey, this is related to Traveler without like using any of their branding. That was me being, you know, sneaky. All right, I got stuff to do. All right, I will talk to you all later. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you tomorrow night, maybe. All right, ciao.